hi everybody.
What's happening?
This is Phoenix Dawn Command. I can't recall you ever wearing it before. This
is my new take on Ink for his final form. Yes.
It's the Jane Austen hour.
This is Phoenix Dawn Command here on Saving Throw Show. We are playing Phoenix Dawn Command, which is a game played with cards, not dice. It's an RPG, and all of these characters used to be mortal until they died, and then the power of the Phoenix energy brought them back to fight the good fight here in this world. And right now, that fight has taken them into a giant interconnected city cave system where they're trying to track down the Chant, which we'll talk more about in a second. But first, who are all these fucking people? You're probably wondering. Sorry, it's like a holiday, so I'm over it already. Hi, everybody. Hi. So I'm Sax Carr. I am the marshal in today's game, and I will be helping to guide them against the Chant. And then over here we've got...
Hey, I'm Mac Beauvais. I didn't come here to make friends, because I'm already friends with all these people. But I am playing Varia, who's from the Bitter School, and she is basically a giant smashy werewolf right now.
I'm Robert Chan. I did come here to make friends. I made Erie my friend. They're all friends in my head. He looks like your typical 9-year-old dead boy that you find in any J horror film, that sort of thing. The more powerful he gets, the harder it is to kind of look at him. So he's becoming more of just like a presence that you kind of always sense, like over there in the corner. If you were to look over there, you may or may not see him, but you know he's there.
But if you look in the mirror, he'll be right behind you.
Yeah.
Boom. Right
Especially
there.
if you open a
when you're
medicine
sleeping,
cabinet.
He knows when you're awake.
We'll go in the attic. No thanks.
All right, Mike.
It's like the most
Hey,
boss.
I'm Michael Holmes, Michael R. Holmes
So am I
on
gonna sit you in
Instagram,
Beverly
Michael
now?
_R. Holmes on Twitter. There's a story behind that. I am playing Ink, who is the magical ninja librarian.
All right, and returning to the show for a second episode is Kate. Kate, you are. Well, tell us who you are and where they can find your exciting stuff, and then we'll talk about your character.
My exciting stuff.
Your exciting stuff.
Hi, I'm Kate. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Kate in real life. I forgot for a second, sorry. And on Twitter, Kate's Tweets. I do nerdy stuff, I make things, and I do photography. So that's my thing. I'm playing a character called Fade. She's also shrouded, and she is a little, very small, young female reporter who got murdered during an investigation. And she's turning more and more invisible, because that was her life as an investigator. She had to be invisible, so now that's her curse.
Kate is, I've known you for a couple years now, and I think you add skills faster than any human being I've ever met. You are like, photography is new, is reasonably new, and it just keeps going like that. So just don't worry in the event of a zombie apocalypse, by the time that happens, Kate will already know how to do everything we need to solve that problem.
That's really funny. I like the positive twist on the fact that I can never settle into one thing for more than 3 months.
I spun that real well.
Yeah.
All right, so the party, the wing, as it were, which is normally these three and Adalia, who recently reached her 7th incarnation and essentially was forced into retirement, so now they're 1 member short, has been sent against the Chant. The Chant is a terrible, infectious song that when you hear it causes you to sing it, and if you sing it, you basically give your body over to it, and it creates these sort of mobs of fanatical, chanting, singing people who try and get other people infected, and if you hear the Chant and it doesn't affect you, they murder you. So they essentially take out whole cities very quickly, because it's basically the song that never ends, but if it was some sort of terrible, infectious
Dirge.
meme.
Yeah.
So the song that never ends.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already there.
It's in your brain. And they... So the Chant has been an issue. It's a manifestation of what they call the Dread, which is sort of the blanket name for the antithesis to the Phoenix Force. So the Phoenix is the Dawn Command, and Dawn is the positive force that's trying to sort of put the world right, and then the Dusk forces, or the Dread, are trying to put the world wrong. And there's all kinds of different types of Dread manifestation, including giant sort of... like angry duding style armies of skeletons. There are huge, terrible monsters. There are the Fallen, which are sort of fey creatures that are mischievous and evil. And then there is the
Varia.
Then there's Varia, another evil thing that we hang out with.
Also in the game.
Yes. The chant is Hanson, says somebody in the chat room. That's not a bad idea.
No.
It's just in the distance you hear Mutt coming over.
That's insidious, but it's not nefarious.
That's right. Although apparently I just recently found out that like the original version of that song is much like slower and more sort of like
Creepy?
tween boppy, and then like some guy who I think is I forget who it is, like a major record producer who found Hanson's like, hey, what if this song was fast? And then they did it, and that became
Wow.
Same thing happened, not the same genre, but the song from Small World was actually meant to be more of a slow moving piece of music, and then somebody's like, let's just like take that and really speed it up and then make it so it can't escape anybody's brain.
Well, it all works like that.
Yep,
That's the
there it is.
various chants of your choosing.
Way to incept that.
So the chant, it turns out, was created many, many years ago. The chant, by the way, is yet another manifestation, and it is the one this wing has been sort of tasked to deal with because they've done the most work sort of towards that end. Meanwhile, whole cities are falling to dread forces, and the war is at absolute fever pitch. There's attacks on Pyre, which is their home base. So they've sent you off to try and basically nip the chant in the bud as soon as you can. And the chant you've discovered through your historical gatherings was essentially created by the Shadowvar in ancient times for some purpose unknown, and has now been perverted by the Dread into what it is today. Mm-hmm. So that's why you're in these Shadowvari caves, which are this connection, this interconnected world of cities connected by caves, where the Shadowvar live in sort of constant motion, moving from place to place, because the Shadowvar, a persecuted people, or were. There really aren't anymore, but they, once you've done several generations of that, you just keep doing it. And you entered into these caves through the mouth, which is the pun-happy city that is one of the major entrances to the Shadowvari caves. And you entered through
glad
there.
it's one of only the major entrances, so there's other ones.
Yes, there's a few other ways
there's
in
an
other
exit.
than the mouth.
You don't go in there.
No entry signs.
Yeah. And you've been a couple days journey, or about a half day's journey inside, when you found the clock, which is this gigantic sort of clockwork structure that actually the Shadowvari use to track where their different tribes are underground. And while you were investigating that, you were beset by chanters. The chanters came in faster than you thought and managed to knock out Atmos, who was currently accompanying you.
He was so good.
Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back, Atmos fanboys. Inkmos, hashtag
I was just about to say
Inkmos.
Inkmos.
Ink gets around.
Be back in Atmos.
Ink is pansexual. What can I say?
All right, so meanwhile, Fade has been shadowing your wing for her own reasons. What was that like and why?
See, I wanted to come up with a really, really great story as to what she's been up to, but I think what's going to happen actually when she arrives and everyone notices her, she's going to have to say it's classified. She's not allowed to discuss it. So she's just going to pop up. Mm-hmm. I'm here. I've been following you for a day and a half. Hi, how you doing?
Hashtag delicious cop out. All right, so yes. So as the wave of chanters hits you with it was actually a wailer. No, it was a whisperer. Hit you with a telekinetic blast. You recover to notice that back behind the chanter mob is Fade, who is right there and ready to help. So give me 1 second to go grab my torch, which I leave in the studio here. There's a torch for someone. By the way, if anyone is can you hear me? You can. Of course you can. You can hear me in your homes without the mics.
You are the honor marshal.
Yes, I am honor.
You are honor.
Everyone can hear me everywhere.
I thought of that as I was coming out of the stairwell today. I was like, oh, Sax is talking at a normal volume. I can hear him through the doors.
Yep.
Like,
My voice has a
100
lot of
feet away.
attack, is what audio engineers tell me. Which might just be them warning me that if I keep talking, they will attack me. Yeah, that's true. It's very true of me. And when I meet other loud people, we join our foreheads together and commune. All right, so the Jenga adjacent blocks that are here in the center of the
Tumbling
table.
tower.
Yes, the
Jumbling tower.
Jumbling
Jumbling
tower.
Really? Oh boy.
Jenga, weirdly enough, the game Jenga is under like constant lawsuits because the number of people claim to have created it, which is why if you create something that is this simple, you don't bring it to family parties for 2 years before you patent it.
Right.
But anyway, so this off-brand Jenga that I bought for $4 at Rite Aid is going to represent the sort of time pressure we're dealing with today. So every time a Phoenix takes an action, they're going to have to take a block off the Jumbling Tower. And when the Jumbling Tower eventually falls down, that will indicate that like they've spent too long not approaching the final goals of their mission, and something bad will happen. If you'd like, let's see here. Boop, 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 boop. Now, you can always donate to our stream for various reasons. You can donate through your XP to get redraws for these people, which are super useful. You can also add environmental objects to the battles, which are doubly useful and also equals a draw for our players, and also allows you to add some sort of stupid thing here that I have to talk about, and I'm totally cool with that. And then, or more erotic literature drawn by one character we met 6 games ago. Whatever works for you. In addition, I will allow redraws to be used to not take from the tower. So if you have, we already have 4 redraws here today, and you have 1 because you're joining us. So if you want to, you can spend redraws to not have to pull from the tower, and you can give them redraws for that purpose. In addition,
Nice.
all of these exciting players here have, including Kate today, have flares, which you can see on the donations tab. They're either positive combat flares or negative social flares, any of which can be triggered by you. Those are cash-only donations, and half the money used for that you donate for that goes to our fund to pay for the actual artists who drew the game that we're playing today.
That's great.
To draw pictures of our main cast. And heck, keep those donations coming, and maybe we'll have that extra money to draw Fade and other things and add those to the cards. So there you go.
There's
All right.
so much chocolate over here, guys. I can't even tell you right now.
Oh, we had our fill last game. Well, I did. I don't speak for you.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the Chanters are definitely the Chanters and the Whisperer, who I have to draw up a card for, are actually I have those. If you want to put them in the dice cam there, people can see what they look like.
Is not good.
And you're all a little wounded from your previous battles. So,
Sort of.
what does anyone want to do?
I mean,
So one of you should take. Everyone should draw, and then one of you should take up the.
does anybody
Go for it. Smashy, smashy.
smashy? Why don't you give me that mining gear over there?
Okay.
Or you got a thing.
Okay. So draw a card from using that environmental object.
Yep, nothing like jamming mining gear in the faces of Chanters.
All right. So and of course the sort of cooperative storytelling element of this game is what does the mining gear? What kind of mining gear is this? Like what is this that you're picking up?
Oh, there's definitely pickaxes.
Okay.
I picked up dual pickaxes.
Okay. Just a step.
And I'm just swinging them around into
Okay.
the mob as much as possible.
For
Sounds
some
great.
reason, I was just thinking it was just a giant gear. I was like, how is that used in mining?
Just
sure it
rolling
makes
it along
Just- yeah.
Yeah.
with like a giant stick. It's
Oh,
like,
we broke the mining gear. Somebody get a new gear.
See, and I was picturing like some sort of stupid like skatewear. Mining gear. I don't know.
All right.
It's,
So
it's Rorschach mining gear. It's whatever you think it is at the time.
no, really, it is. All right. So you have the 2 pickaxes, and what are you gonna do with them?
I'm going to swing them into the Chanter mob, trying to take out as many of them as I possibly can.
Okay. I'll you're not doing brutal damage yet today.
Not yet.
All right. So I will
Soon.
I'll let this be brutal because you're hitting more than one of them.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to use Power from Pain.
Okay.
I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do that. I also have Shadow Wolf active as well.
That's true. Yeah. So you are covered by the shadowy protections of your
So
wolf
that gives
spirit.
me 5, 10, and another 8. So 8. 19, 20, 22.
22. Okay, so they have a defense of 3, which is not terribly exciting. So that is 19. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and you get a whole health level for 1 because it's brutal damage. So you did take a significant amount of them out with pickaxes. Do you want to be done, or are you going to keep
Oh,
going?
I'm done.
All right. So who else wants it? We have one more of you before the enemies go.
I'll take it. I'm gonna almost literally follow in her footsteps and kind of just follow on along the path of destruction. So I'm using Hunter. So that's 5.
Oh, I didn't have to do the thing, did I?
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, grab a piece.
Nope.
Oh no. Ooh.
Right.
You've got the perfect nails for that too.
So actually, I go hidden, and then I start doing this. So there's +4 thanks to Dream Shadow. Then there's 14 and 18, 21, because when I'm hidden, I can use an additional card.
Nice.
But now I'm no longer hidden, so there's that.
Okay, 21 is pretty significant. We're going to go ahead and, let's see, so that's back down to 18, so it is...
Good to see you again, Fade. I just wish it was under better circumstances.
12.
You haven't seen me yet.
No, he said that I saw you.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
they've all seen, like, you basically, I'm going to give you, like, that sort of, you know, like when Predator needs to be imposing in a scene where, like, you come around the corner and, like, and then you're gone, you know?
Okay.
So just brief moment that you, because you're still hidden at the top of this scene,
Great.
which is why the Chanter mob is not going to attack you. Oh, go ahead and
Excellent.
draw a thing. All right. Okay, so the Chanter mob is going to attack. Let's see, they have enough to attack 2 of you, so they'll attack. You came out of hiding to do this attack,
too,
correct?
yeah.
So both of you have an attack. This is going to be an attack 8. Pretty simple.
Thank you, Shadow Wolf.
All
I
right.
can actually defend this time.
Yay!
Yeah, look at that.
Yay. That never happens.
I'm good.
And Morton Blade, I see you're in the chat room there. I will add it. I owe you a weapons rack, but not for this combat. I can't unless you want. If you want to donate again, we will definitely put a weapons rack back into this combat. And there's a weapons rack manufacturer, very profitable business in this world. Apparently, they get a lot of them. So anyway, good. Those attacks work. The Whisperer, however, is going to take a couple of swings. The Whisperer is this again. They're getting smarter. So the Whisperer is going to telekinetic grab you, which reduces your card spreads by 1 across the board, and prevents you from moving. And then it's going to try and piercing whisper you, Chan. So this is a ranged attack, all or nothing, 10.
Small and quick. 9 and 11.
Wow.
Bam.
All right. It's hard to get your hands on Chan, but it's worth trying. All right. So
Hashtag hands on Chan.
hands on Chan. All right. So both of you can go. So either one of you want the torch? Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, no, never mind.
Here. Look at this bag of. Are those shaped charges?
Yes, it is a bag of
They
explosives,
were-
certainly.
Huh.
It's
I guess
what
I'm
you-
gonna.
That's good.
It'd be a real shame if something, happened to him.
These stupid telekinetic fellers are probably probably don't want those near their set off near their feet.
Nope.
So I'm definitely going to do that.
All right. Go ahead and make a. It's an attack, basically. It's an attack, but make an attack. I'm not going to make you do a skill spread to make sure the explosives don't go off near you. I might make you do a grace spread to not be there when this all goes down. I should point out, chat, that Chan is using an environmental object that was bag of question mark, and choosing to make it shape charges. That's kind of how it goes. So you can sort of make it what you need it to be.
No, I didn't.
Which is exactly how you used Moonlight in a successful attack before.
And then I died.
Yep. That was like the first death in the
That
game
was,
ever.
yeah. We had our magical moment.
All right then. Burn 2 to absolute precision, which means I can use as
For some reason,
many
I just
cards
had
as I want
a
to.
vision of Varya and Ink doing like Kmart style like Christmas photos.
13.
The Christmas sweaters all completely stretched out.
And then it's terrifying, so stunned.
Specifically
Okay.
Kmart too.
17.
Nowhere else.
Oh yeah. Well, it had to be
17.
that or Sears.
17. All right, so I'm going to give that +5 damage because it's also the explosion. So you're sort of your score represents the explosion, but also the explosion is the explosion. So that is, you say 17 +5. Their defense is 6, so it's actually a total of -1, so it is 16. So 4, 8, and then
14.
Yep, there we go. So we'll take that. It'll take it as brutal damage. So you do significant damage and you stun them. Go for it. Fade.
Actually, Chan.
Oh yeah, do the thing.
And also here.
All
Can I
right.
ask if anyone here is feeling they need a redraw? Am I allowed to ask that information?
Yeah,
from
sure.
my
Of course,
group?
you can kibitz as much as you
How's
want.
everybody doing with what they have available to them? Does anyone need any help?
It's not super great, but
I have crap in my hands, but I'm also held by a Whisperer right now.
Yeah, I should point out that they will attack after this action. So giving someone a redraw if they have low cards is a way to keep them up.
yeah, I can definitely use a little bit of that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, great, because I don't really particularly have a good attack right now, so I'm instead going to burn 3 sparks so that you can discard your hand and redraw the same number of cards. So 3.
Got it.
I don't know what that was, but
You whispered knowledge into his ear. Oh, all right. Take a
oh
wound.
dear, what?
And and he whispers the chant into Mac.
Great.
Okay. Thank you, though.
Sorry.
It's all right. It was gonna come up sooner or later.
And you draw from that, by the way. You
I'm a little rusty.
replace it in your
Sorry.
hand when you get it. All right. So, and I'm gonna give you one of your sparks back for sort of the way that I reward players in D&D for healing.
Okay.
By giving
That's
them
nice.
inspiration, I'm going to give you a spark back for
Thanks.
using your action in a defensive manner, which
Wonderful.
this game does not promote.
Yeah.
So especially not when Vari is here. Vari, you can smash things, or you can help your friend. Varia, where'd you go? All right, so.
Sorry, you said smash. I got really excited.
All right, so.
But you also have to.
Oh no!
Yeah.
And we're trying not to make it fall, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
I think that would classically be called a bad thing.
Well, unless
I think
I'm trying
this
to make-
middle one right here.
Well, and then
you
across
guys.
this way is also not bad, rather than from these sides.
Oh, I keep thinking it's the touch take it rules. It's not. I can tap a couple of these bad boys.
Yeah.
There you go.
It is also legal, both in this game especially, but in Jenga, when you have 2 blocks that are like that, to push them together. Yeah, as long as you're going to do something with one of those 2 blocks,
Really?
you can pinch together blocks. Yeah.
Fascinating.
I don't like these
It's
rules.
like
What's that?
learning how Monopoly's actually supposed to be played.
Yeah.
no, house rules.
Anti-monopoly is how it's supposed to be played. All right, so all right, great. So the dread has not hit us yet. Not in any way trying to jump on the game Dread, where I borrowed this dynamic from, or from the wonderful person in the Phoenix Dawn Command group online, which we are part of, where there's about 200 players and GMs for Phoenix Dawn Command there that all sort of exchange ideas, and I saw someone using this, and I'm like, that is what we need in a cave-bound adventure. Okay, so
I like it.
that is
As
all right.
opposed to the tower adventure, where we were actually in a tower.
Then we would
Yeah.
have a little
Cave in,
cave
right?
that we could. I don't know.
It's, yeah. I mean, if there was a tower version, and then if you knocked it down, the tower fell over, that would definitely
That'd be really
that'd
bad.
be on the nose, I think, but it would be well worth it. All right, so you take 1 wound from the Whisperer Mac
Okay.
as it squeezes
I
you.
totally miscounted during my first hit too. Fuck. I had another 4 points of damage. Shit.
Oh well, I'll knock off one
Sorry,
of the.
I just realized that.
I don't mind that. I'll remove a health level here.
So you've got someone like holding on to you right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's being like basically held up in the air by a telekinetic blast.
It's unpleasant.
Okay. Noted. Thanks.
To say the
Okay.
least.
And the Whisperer is going to make a telekinetic slam attack against Eerie again. This is a 14, trying
draw a
to
card, though, 'cause I
hit
can't
you.
do-
And it's going to remove the Cave-In from the board by throwing it at you. So the Cave-In picks up and throws at you. Meanwhile, the Chanter Mob is going to attack Mike and Eerie, because Eerie has just attacked them, and the Chanters are smart enough to know that you'll be hidden before they can stop you. That's 9 because it goes up 1 every time.
God damn it! I can do 8.
All right, then you're fine with that because it is not an all or nothing attack.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, it's still 1 wound.
Okay.
1 wound.
I was like, wait.
Because the 1 gets through, but it's ×2. Oh no, you're
Yeah.
divide 3.
Yes.
You're fine.
Okay.
No damage. Take your wound. Get rid of that wound.
All right.
Gameplay question. 'Cause
Yeah.
I feel like I've forgotten a couple of the
No,
details.
please. That we're a teaching show.
So it's I can do as much as I want as long as I can afford it, right?
Yeah. You
Okay,
can keep
that's what I
playing
thought.
until you
Okay,
draw back up
excellent.
again. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So do you have a defense?
What am I defending against again? What's the first one?
Its telekinetic slam is 14.
All or nothing?
No, it is a standard attack at ×1 damage, so that actually is a pretty good deal. But it can do as much as 8 wounds in a hit, so careful now.
Great.
Oh, I see.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do. Oh, I can do this, right? Yay. I'm gonna do 10 on that one.
Okay, that is 1 wound. And then it's 9 from the Chanters.
And 8 on that.
Which is 1 wound. So that one is a wound.
That's a wound?
Yeah, because 1 gets through. Chanters do ×2 damage, so it's 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, which is 1 wound. And you
All right.
can't. Yeah.
I'll let that slide. Well, no, I have Survivor, so I could burn 2 sparks to
Remove
prevent
it if you
one
wanted
wound. Yeah, but if I don't have, if I ain't pristine, then it doesn't really make a difference.
to. Okay. All right. So that is their action. So now it's anybody's torch.
How can I get out of this hold?
You can still attack the Whisperer, or you can still sort of attack the hold. You'd basically just spend a spark to do a ranged attack because it's holding you far away from it. But if you do 10 damage to the Whisperer, I'll count that as it lets you go, and that's pretty much. I think you do that by default.
I have 9 on the table right now. That's
Yeah.
brutal without anything being drawn.
Yeah.
Does anybody mind or?
No, go for it. Here, have a torch.
Thank you. So you said I need to burn a spark.
Yeah. One
right.
spark to make a ranged attack.
All right. Imagine there's lots of rocks around. It lets me get rid of stuff in my hand too, because honestly, I need to draw up like really bad. So that's going to give me 10, and then another 3, so 13, 17.
17. All right. Well, that means 11.
That's brutal damage.
Yep.
Too.
So that's 2 wound levels. You almost kill the Whisperer outright, and
So-
it drops you.
Okay.
All right. Who else wants it before?
Sure.
I'll go.
Go for it.
Oh wait, I gotta do the Jenga.
Yes, let's wait
crap.
for that. I'd say right now I'm using a redraw though.
I was about to ask you, Mac, in this way, like completely apropos of nothing, not trying to make a joke. Like, did you change the color of your claws? That's not what you ask a girl.
Yes.
It looks nice.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so are you going? So you took it. All right.
I can do 8 without burning any sparks.
If you can make it brutal, you'll kill the Whisperer with that.
Unfortunately, I can't. But if I add 4 sparks, then I get through, right?
Yeah. The total is 12.
Here, have 4 sparks.
All right.
So yeah, as Varia drops, I just swoop in and kind of jam my stylus up through its face and pull it off.
Nice. We're seeing an interesting side of ink. What art? What do
I'm
you
a
look?
bad influence.
What do you look like artistically while that's happening?
Frank Miller, like Dark Knight Returns style. Although, no, I guess that was Klaus Jensen. Whatever, like Dark Knight Returns style DC Comics.
Nice.
Just all gritty and liney and shitty internal monologue going on.
For those just catching up, Ink looks like every time you look at Ink, he looks like he's been drawn by a different artist as part of his manifestation. All right, so
That's
go ahead and draw from the thing.
Already did.
Oh no.
Okay, so that is them. The Whisperer is dead. There's still some Chanters left. They can still attack 2 people at once. They're going, and you're still hidden because you are good at this. You looked at a dynamic and you realized how it worked and you did it. All right, so they're going to attack both of you. And you know what? You just attack last. So both of you. This is an attack 10.
I'm going to use Superhuman Reflexes, which is going to let me draw another card. That doesn't help me as much as I hoped it would. So I can lay down that. And actually, wait, I can burn a spark to draw another card. Which also doesn't help me. 3, unless you want to count Superhuman Reflexes for anything more.
I'll count it for more. I'll bring it all the way up to 5. So what's the total there?
That would give me 7.
7? All right, so that's so basically it's a 1 for 1 for that. So it would be we're gonna put 2 wounds on you as opposed to 3, because I'll give Superhuman Reflex is gonna keep you up that last little bit.
I can do 9, but my endurance is 3.
Yep, so you're fine.
Cool.
I get to draw cards because I got hit. Yeah, I always forget about that.
All right, so both of you have actions left. There's a Chanter mob is all that's up.
So many cards.
Also, we have those little vials of dawn energy, right? Okay.
Well, you guys do.
Well, and we're gonna reveal in just a second that
Okay. Sorry, didn't mean to jump the gun.
that there is more traveled here with Fade. So. Chan has plans.
Oh yes, has many plans. Does Jimmy have fear? 1,000 times no.
Sorry, News Radio is my favorite sitcom of all time.
It's so good.
Yes. Donkey.
That needs to be on Netflix.
It had been, and then they took it down. I was
I think
really
it's on
bummed.
Hulu now.
Is it on
Is
Hulu?
it?
Yeah, because it was an NBC show, right?
I'd watch the
Yeah.
fuck out of that
so
with
Hulu's
commercials.
owned by NBC. So
Doesn't necessarily mean it's on there, but now I have to check because I got halfway through a season. I was enjoying
perfectly
it, and then they
willing
took it
to
down.
admit I might be misinformed.
It's a show so good it manages to make you accept Andy Dick.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
True story.
yeah.
And the other weird thing is that the showrunner, the next thing he did after News Radio was Atlanta.
Really?
Yeah. He just was like, I just feel like being a writer for the next 10, 12 years. And then, they said, hey, we need a adult showrunner to do this thing. So I was like, yeah, all right.
And while we're on the subject, seriously, Dave Foley, if you're out there, you can come and get it. Whatever you want. All top stuff, bottom stuff, I'm in. Dave Foley is probably one of my top 3 comedy icons of all time. If I could be Dave Foley, I would take the deal.
I'm the second most attractive kid in the hall as a woman, in my opinion.
I think first most.
No, I think Bruce McCullough was always the most attractive.
Disagree.
Only in makeup. I mean, you can just strip him down and just...
I would say that Dave Foley was the most realistic woman of the group.
Dave Foley made that look work.
Yeah.
Let's just say,
Yeah.
but
Although I did see one of his stand-ups on Netflix and had to turn it off because it just got really bleak.
Yeah, he's not the best stand-up in recorded history. Much better sketch performer. Nicole DeBoer, who was the object of all their affections whenever there was that sort of punk girl they always wanted, went on to play Dax in Deep Space Nine.
Ah.
Yeah, that is that. So if you watch a lot of, if you ever had an Ezri Dax thing and you want to see Ezri Dax as like a disaffected punk,
Oh, not Jadzia.
no, not to do.
Okay.
Nev Campbell's on an episode as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Sorry.
not sorry.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Well,
I apologize for nothing.
Yeah, Eerie is going to start pushing them back, and then swinging around and knocking the wooden wall over onto them.
nice. Go ahead and knock off that wooden wall and draw a card.
And I got nice. Okay, well, let's do this then. Blur of motion. 8.
I believe you can draw 2 cards in Blur of Motion. Am I correct in saying that?
Nope.
Oh yeah, because it's the 2.
Oh, yes.
All right. Yeah. 11, 13. 13.
13? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and say that because you're knocking a wall on them, they're not going to avoid that. So we'll overlook their armor for this one. So that is just 3, 6, 9, 12. Almost done. All right. What do you got, Fade?
Not much. That's
Gotta
the
do
thing.
Oh, yes. Thanks.
She's not very good at
It's a
Greeks.
tumbling
Woo!
tower.
That was nice.
Pretty sneaky, sis.
So Fade is going to. What is the clock? Can you give me a refresh
Okay,
on what it
the
looks like?
clock is like a giant. It looks almost like a sundial, but it has moving parts, like one of those Art Deco clocks you might see on the wall of like a corporate office. It's just a bunch of different sort of spheres and bars, and it's all kind of moving in strange directions.
Is it at a height that Fade could jump onto it?
Oh sure.
Great. So Fade she's still hidden. She's going to run around the group, do a little hop, skip, and a jump up onto the clock. She's going to pull out her little notebook, which is very confusing when you first see it. Then she opens it up. She takes out her quill, which has some cool new abilities. It's not just one quill. She can throw it, and it's like a double appears, and she can send multiples of them, kind of like arrows. So
Nice.
she's going to jump up onto this clock. Boop.
Draw a card from the clock.
And she is going to use her quill, and she's going to take out as many of the chanters as she can by
Okay.
throwing it.
So you're using Shadow Knife as your combat
Yes.
still, or you can use Cryptic Blade. Sorry.
I think it would probably be this one because is she hidden? She's hidden right now.
You are hidden, yeah.
So her damage will be brutal,
All right, nice.
and I'll use it at a range. And I'm just gonna throw.
So it's up to 3 intellect cards.
Yeah. Now, quick question, would I want to hold on to some really big cards just in case, or should I just really go for it?
You'll draw back up, but this is also the last
Take out
monster
the-
in this
take
scene.
Do it.
out.
Go large.
So as big as I can go. So 3 cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have a 5, and a 4, and another 4.
All right, so what's the total there?
That is for 13.
13, okay. And let's see, 13.
13 brutal.
And it's brutal.
And it's brutal because I was hidden.
Yep.
And I think that's probably it.
Yep, that works fine. Okay, so we're gonna do 3, 6, 9. All right, so they're gonna get one more round out of you. That unhides you, by the way.
Yep.
Unless there is an ability that
I
Strata
can
can have where you
actually.
can just stay hidden.
I might actually.
I think it might be one of your regular abilities.
I have about a million cards right now.
Good.
No, I guess I'm wrong. Well, there is an ability that you can get for Shrouded, where if you attack from hidden, you can remain hidden. I think you have to spend something to do it. You're revealed. So they're going to try and scramble up and attack you because
During
you
your
just,
turn, you may discard this card to become hidden.
oh, well there you go. They can't see you at all. All right, and that happened during your turn. So go ahead and draw up from that as well.
Don't forget your tower
And-
piece.
Yeah.
Yep, and take your tower piece and also put your cards into this card.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. It's not leaning particularly heavy any. Oh, nice. That was really easy one actually.
Okay, so the Channers do get off one attack. They can't see you. They can see Chan, who just attacked them. So that is an attack of 11. Because it gets one more every turn. That's how Channers work. They get better at attacking you. really love your True Value Hardware shirt, and I don't know why.
I got it like 6 years ago, and this is the True Value hardware store in Silver Lake. And I was just like, that looks really, really cool. And my first conscious thought this morning was like, I want to wear that shirt today.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really boring story. I'm sorry.
No, it was good.
No, we're riveted.
If the people at home like me are not obsessed with your fashion choices, then I don't know what I can do for them.
If I do 10, I'm still going to take a wound?
You'll take 1, yeah.
God damn it. All right. 14.
All right, you're fine. All right, Mac, you want to take us home?
Yes.
I believe you might kill them by default. So
How much have they got right now?
they have 9. Oh no, they have 12.
Let's see. So I have 7. I've got 11 brutal damage right now without laying anything down.
Right, and you have to lay something down to make it happen, but that's all you'll need, and you'll just. And so basically, at this point, you're just sort of like walking through, like stab, and then you, and then you, and then you. Ta-da! Yeah. All right. So you put down the remaining chanter, and things seem quiet at least for the moment, except for the occasional movement of the pieces of the clock.
The thing.
Because I'm just swinging on it quietly. I'm not here. Oh.
All right.
Not bad for caffeine jitters.
All right. So the clock ticks. Things move on. So Fade is here, and you guys should probably deal with it. By the way, Fade, you have with you 4 dawn ampules, which are like little glass balls that have like sort of crackling sunlight energy in them, which are basically healing potions.
Ooh.
They're only ever issued 1 per Phoenix, and so everyone here has 1 except for Varia, who used hers, and you have 4.
Great.
Question mark. All right, so all right.
Got it. Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't steal them. I don't know why you're looking at me like that.
Where's the rest of your wing?
It's a big, long story maybe for Beside the Fireside later. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. Don't look at me like that.
And you're painting a very convincing narrative of that, but we don't have time to worry about that right now. We need to continue down the path. I mean, if we're going to figure out what the chant wants, then we need to keep moving. Fade, I'm glad you're here. Just try not to die.
Okay.
So you have 2 paths ahead of you. You chose last week that you're going to follow the chant and not the rest of the Shadowvar to wherever they're held up.
Right.
You also have Atmos like unconscious on the ground. You can leave him, although he might be later attacked. Although you got lives. It's not a big thing. Or you can drag him along. I mean, certainly Varia can carry him with like.
I have an idea. Mm-hmm. If you can put him in a corner, I can make him invisible.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. We're definitely gonna have fun with how that effect works. All right, so that'll be an exciting thing to deal with next.
We'll leave a little
next
marker
game.
on the wall that only we recognize.
Yes,
Little-
I
just a
believe
big
you
arrow
removed him
points
from
down.
the entire world's understanding and memory. So Atmos
No.
now.
No. Wait.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh no!
I'm
that's
not
a bad
carrying him with us the entire time, I'll tell
Who?
you that.
idea.
God damn it.
So Atmos will have to explain who he is to you when he gets back. Good job, Fate. Though no one will attack him because he doesn't exist.
I remember, right? I didn't
Yeah,
forget,
you
did I?
remember.
Are, you,
Okay.
are you sure you don't
Well,
want to tell
I'm
us
just-
what happened to your wing?
Well, you know what? I'm going to just take out my
It's
from my
Atmos from
little
Yeah.
notebook that I have with my magic quill and write a little note. and
Just
then
write,
I'll...
hi, my name is Atmos on one of the papers and just pin it to his
Yeah, exactly.
He's from the Flashpoint universe. Don't worry about it.
All right. Okay, sorry. Yet one last tangent before we get deep into this game. I think
Deeper into the mouth?
Yeah, deeper into the.
I'm in 10-1.
Yeah,
Tangent.
in terms of Flashpoint and the Flash series, you can tell. I love that show, and I think the writer's doing a great job. And don't get me wrong, but like you can tell the fact that they like had Flashpoint exist for half of one episode and then went away, and now they have to sort of explain it all. Has been a little bit too much plot when Grant Gustin basically has to like burst through he has to slur his speech to give the whole like opening crawl credits. He was like, I'm Flash, the fastest man alive. But I ran back in time and I changed to save my mother, and then there was a place, and now of course it's a different universe, and things are different. But I'm the only one fast enough to stop him. It's the Flash, and like the opening credits are literally him having to explain, 50 years of continuity in 2 sentences.
What happens is you start messing with time.
Yep.
That show's gotten pretty crazy because I've been watching it like sort of that episode of Futurama where they keep skipping forward in time because I haven't been watching it, but my husband has, and every once in a while he'll watch it and I'm reading or something. I'm like, wait, what's happening with the thing now? And I just kind of keep getting these jumps, and like the one guy who's sort of the mentor dude, I'm like, wow, he's acting really different now. He's like, yeah, well, he kind of is. He's from this other. I'm like, okay,
Totally different.
sure.
I
And also Draco is there. Like, what?
yeah.
It's funny.
That's strange.
Malfoy.
I think I want Jessie Quick back. She was my favorite. I want more Jessie Quick. Anyway, so we'll wait for him to come back and catch up.
I want to go backwards to watch the Grodd episodes. That was the thing that I missed that I'm sad about. Because Gorilla Grodd's pretty fucking rad in general.
It was good, really good CG. It was like really like they made it really seem like it was there-ish, as best as you can on TV.
Well, and on the CW, no
Yeah.
less.
He'll be back this season too, so.
Which still won't make any sense to me whatsoever.
He's a giant fucking gorilla. What more do you want?
Well, no, I mean
How
just
much sense
all
do you
the other things around it, because the show is.
Well,
Yeah.
multi-dimensional. I mean, this is the stuff that like when they started doing it on Fringe, they kept being told like no one will be able to follow this. It may not be.
Yeah.
It isn't necessarily not true. I mean, they also have like another time-traveling ship on a sister show, and now they're all going to fight aliens. And Supergirl is or isn't in their universe, but is still going to be part of that crossover. So
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, now that you open to the alternate Earths, it's just like, yeah, she's on another Earth. We'll just break through with the science.
we'll science that.
Actually, the other thing I need to go back and watch is I want to watch the Tyler Hoechlin Superman on Supergirl because I heard he was amazing.
He was good. Yeah, he was really
I heard
good.
he was really good. And it's so funny because my only point of reference for that actor is, well, Teen Wolf. And that show's pretty much garbage. I mean, he's good, but he's the one I was telling you guys about that his eyes are blue because his character's sad.
Wow.
I see that.
Aww.
The thing that he does well is that he doesn't make himself the main character. He's fucking Superman, and he lets Supergirl be the main character. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it seemed like he had that right balance that not many people get right for Superman.
He also plays Superman to me like a very happy to be there celebrity, where like whenever people are around, he's like, "Hey, yeah, no, it is me, Superman. Hi," like shaking hands, like, yeah, no, this is great. Like I love meeting
That's
everybody.
funny.
Like, stay in school, cool, and then like he's like happy
Cute.
about it. Whereas even discounting the Batman vs Superman sort of universe, Superman has been a little bit dour lately, and I like an upbeat. I mean, you're Superman. What
Me
you know?
too.
Letting the world get you down is terrifying. All right, so
Before we move on, Fade would like to do something really fast.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
So since she has her magical little reporter's leather notebook that she's had since she was murdered, she noticed that everyone completely forgets about their friend that she just made invisible. And she's like, oh, well, that's not good. So she writes a little note on 3 little pieces of paper. She rolls them up. She hands them out, one to each of you. And she says, when I leave, these will open and you need to read them. And inside it has a little note and a map as to where their friend is. They need to come find him. So,
I'll spend you a spark to make that
That's fine.
magic happen, but it does work.
Okay.
excellent.
Will someone hold this for me? Because I don't have pockets anymore.
Certainly.
It'll find you when the time's ready.
Yeah, I'm nowhere to fur.
Is it long enough to tie knots yet?
That's true. You
Stick it in your cheek.
Sorry.
You've got mats. I think we all know that you've got mats.
You're in a cave.
Really, Erie, why you gotta be like this?
Varia, before we go any further, do you want to try to recuperate a little bit?
No, I love being really injured.
Could we borrow one of those vials, please?
Fine. She best be nicer to me.
Borrow implies that we're giving it back.
I make no promises.
All right, and that's for
3 health levels, yeah.
Better than nothing.
Yep.
well, I mean, if you guys want me to continue to smash things, I think that's a lot more important than me being nice.
Oh no, it came part of the part. You have to be nice to me. For I don't know.
In
Whatever.
fact, you're compelled to be nice.
Yeah, right.
one of my PCs in my Wednesday game, not my PCs, but one of the PCs in my Wednesday game that my girlfriend Lemon is the DM for, got a cursed item that like is a useful item, but it makes you generous. And you would not believe how hard that is for PCs to play. Like he has to like give money to beggars, and like whenever someone's like, "I need healing," he's like, "I'll do it." It's strange.
It's like, yes, man.
Yeah, PCs
Yeah.
are not technically generous normally. It's very.
It's very painful.
Yeah.
All right. So, but it's a useful item on top of that. So you get paid back for it. All right. So heading down the tunnel in the way that you have predicted or assumed is the way to the source of the chant. These tunnels range in age as you sort of take different turns. Some of them are clearly ancient and have archaic carvings in them, and some of them are like entirely ornate, like they were made out of like you're inside of a temple. Others are just rough stone sort of, tunnels that head from one section to another. Some of those are old too. They just haven't been sort of adorned. But they're also new, pieces of construction where they've sort of carved out new areas, connected new tunnels. The Shadowvari have for a long time used magic, even now, even after it has been outlawed. They definitely still use their magic to only cut stone in such a way that they're not gonna, the tunnels won't cave in on themselves. So they've basically created like this beehive level, like several levels, hundreds of feet up and down and deep into the underground. And apparently this world does not have like a molten core, so it just goes as far as it needs to in any direction. And there's all these different like little citylets that you come across, almost all of which are all the ones you're come to now are entirely abandoned. And these all look like someone sort of, you have a round cave and there's occasionally like sort of, houses cut out of it, like raw cut out of it. But there's also just little structures in here that they've built. But they're all out of stone. They've just rebuilt, they've taken the stone they've used to carve out and made these like stone buildings, several story buildings. They are... but they're all empty, and there's like paper like flying through the streets and
Tumbleweed.
yeah, tumbleweed and everything's overturned. So after about a day, so you guys can all gain another health level, and we're just gonna go ahead and give you your sparks back. I think you should have 20. So how much do you have there?
16.
16. So you get 4.
Thank you.
How much do you need, Ari?
3.
Thank you.
Here's 3. Mac, 2. There we go.
Right.
4 is yours. Oh.
Whatever.
Oh. Well.
Don't worry about it.
So you it's been about a day's journey. You don't need to sleep or rest, and you make a turn into what initially seems like an abandoned outpost, but is very quickly, it's clear that it's actually somewhat populated, and there's a bunch of Shadowvari people here who have sort of like upon hearing you approach or possibly scouting ahead, although you're both hidden, so I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
But Mac, hard to miss as a 11-foot tall werewolf. They all sort of went into hiding, and then when it was clear that you weren't chanters or some other sort of malignant force, they came out. Like people are sort of coming out of buildings to engage you.
Who took this one? Oh no. Okay.
He just wants to watch the world burn.
Yeah. Collapse down upon us.
I'm going to go unhidden, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And whisper to you especially, just stay back, just in case anything should go wrong. We mean you no harm. We are here from Dawn Command. We're here to put an end to the chant.
We haven't had phoenixes around here in a long time. It's good to know that there's something being done about the chant. It was only I guess it's a terrible problem, but it was comparatively minor until recently. This is sort of a town elder who is approaching you. Shadowvari have like a sort of traveling people sort of style to them, so they have lots of like loose clothing and scarves and various things. Yay!
Are you hidden or cold? Or both?
Hiding.
Okay.
Our show has the most props. All right, so the people are coming out. They're bringing out like basically like food gifts for you, even though you don't eat, and saying, "Are you going to stay here with us in case the chant comes back, or are you going to travel further, and what should we do?
Well, perhaps we can all sit down together and break bread and discuss what's been going on around here.
Do we have time for that?
I like bread.
It might help in the long term. It'll definitely
There's
help
not
in
going to
the
be a long term if we don't keep going.
It won't be very long. An hour.
All right, so they set up in like the center of the town, which is basically in the intersection of like the two main paths that would travel out through the various caves. And they bring out sort of chairs and furniture and whatnot and food, and they all sort of gather. There's in total maybe a couple hundred people there.
Okay.
And you get the basics are that they don't know of any settlement in any direction for several miles that has survived, and they don't know why theirs has.
Okay.
I'm going to sit on the edge of this whole thing. I'm going to listen to the conversation, but I'm going to be listening outwards towards the direction we haven't gone yet.
Okay. Does anyone want to make any checks about this conversation or try and get more information?
Well, I mean, I told them about the clock and everything and how we feel like the direction we're heading is the source of the chant. I can't tell you what to do because your culture is so very different from mine. Were it my people, I would tell you to try and get away from here as quickly as I could. Hopefully, if we do our job correctly and do it in a timely fashion, that won't be an issue, but I wouldn't be able to live with myself if something happened to you.
All right. Make where are your skills? Make an observation check, Fade, and you can make whatever sort of search check is most appropriate to you, Varia. What do you want to be doing while he's having this conversation?
I'm gonna scout around the edge of this township area.
Okay.
Trying to figure out why they haven't been taken out.
Okay. You sort of zip around. It's obviously for you, it goes quite fast. There does not seem to be anything special about this town. There are no barricades. There's no. I mean, there's like the basic sort of trappings of like where guards might be assigned, although they're all currently at the gathering. There doesn't seem to be any reason why these people would be spared. What do you have?
But they seem relaxed, like not fearful, huh?
Well, I mean, they're afraid,
Okay.
but they.
I'm gonna, like I said, kind of watch towards the outer edges of town, maybe shadows, because I'm
Okay.
looking for things that are kind of moving and might be out.
Okay, make a shadows
on the
roll.
approach. Trying to think if I have anything else. These don't help me at all. So that would give me 13.
Okay. I'm going to come back to that check. What do you have for by way of observation?
I'm going to be observing and keeping an eye out for hidden threats. I'm good at spotting hidden threats.
So make an observation spread. You're going to be +5 because of your skill specialties.
Okay. Would I be able to make you come up with what the truth is, or do I have to come up with it?
You can only use it in an attack spread,
Okay.
but you can actually come up with it, and I'll
Okay.
make it work.
Just an attack spread.
And because of your soon forgotten, I'm actually going to give you an additional +5 because this has to do with deception, but we'll explain more later.
Great.
So it's 10 already.
Okay. Then in that case, I will just add. I feel like we could find some useful information. Can I just put intellect cards down? Do I have to put a grace down?
You
It's
should
an
be able
intellect
to-
spread.
but you can play one grace card as intellect.
But I don't have to. Excellent. How do you guys feel about me putting 8 down? Should I put more down?
8, that's 18.
Okay, that's probably good then.
Okay, so
Decapitated by my.
Yeah, don't do that.
thankfully, because nobody knows you're there,
Yeah.
you have a unique perspective on which to sort of be observing, right? So I'm going to sort of try to talk you all through this as time goes on. So the guy you're talking to seems very earnest, and he's sort of taking note, and he's talking with sort of town elders, but you feel like there are some people in the group that aren't necessarily on board, and you don't know why. You're still finding out that there's like no reason why this town should be spared. You feel like on the fringes of the sort of, the far end of your perception that there might be something stirring there, but you can't figure out what it is. And you notice that there are like 2 or 3 like really shifty people sort of in the crowd that are watching Mike with like watching Ink with intense scrutiny, and you can't figure out why.
Don't forget what we learned last time too from the Whisperers, that their fear was that they weren't going to be able to protect the Shadowvari people.
Or they're worried about.
Well, they were. What was it exactly? Do you remember?
The chant is afraid of the Shadowvari, basically, right?
The chant is
No.
afraid that they won't be able to protect the Shadowvari,
Oh,
which
okay.
is
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
I
Okay,
misheard
see,
that.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so keep that in mind.
So, what does anyone want to do before I take the next steps here?
Do I need to do that?
You can. What's that? Oh, no, that wasn't
Okay.
an action. That wasn't a combat action.
Oh, that's only for combat.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because I don't want to put a time pace on
Are you
non-combat stuff.
Is Eerie still moving around?
Mhm.
Can I
Intercept him?
Get your attention real quick? There's something moving out there. We're gonna have trouble real soon.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna start. I'll move out into the out there
Okay.
and try and keep a low profile. And
Make a scouting spread. Mike, anything?
I feel like I should roll or do an observation spread at this point, too.
Okay.
Okay. So there's 7 right there. So that's 12.
Mm-hmm.
How's that?
12 is pretty good.
Okay.
So, and do you want to take any action based on what you just learned?
Are either of you two in an area where I can appear next to you and I won't necessarily be noticed immediately by everyone else?
Yeah, I mean, I'm out on the edge, kind of.
Okay.
And he's now left the city. So, yeah, you can spend a spark to appear next to either of them and be well far away.
All right, I'm gonna come appear next to you, and whoop. There are a couple people in the crowd that don't look like they're up to good, and they're staring very intently at us. And I'm gonna just hide again. I feel like something bad's gonna happen.
There's something moving out there. That's a good idea.
Okay.
We need to get Ink out of there, though, because he's right in the middle of them. There's something going on.
Okay. And we'll spend another spark, I think. Spend a spark to disappear, or run
No,
away,
I
or-
believe you can just go ahead and
Okay, because I'm not in combat. or
yeah,
anything?
I mean, you
Okay.
can find find time to
Just creep back into the shadows.
do what it takes.
Great.
All right, let's see where.
I've got 15, but I'm using memories of the chant because I want to try and see if I can resonate and figure out, get on their wavelength.
Okay, I'm okay. So I'm gonna basically resolve both your checks and move into this now. All right. So you're in this big crowd in the center of town. You're both on the outskirts of town. Are you moving towards the center of town, or are you moving back?
I'm moving back towards the center of town because I'm not sure that Ink obviously isn't aware. I've let them both know what's going on. I want to go let him know what's up.
All right, so you're heading back. You're out there. So basically, because you're sort of like almost like mouthing parts of the chant to yourself, like remembering chant phrases as you come around, as you're like moving through these corridors. You essentially like pseudo cloak yourself to the chant, and as a result, you come around a corner and you can see just standing there in like right in the sort of crux of the pathways are 3 whisperers, like a whisper gestalt, just sort of centering around, like floating, waiting. There's no chanters around them, and they notice you as soon as you get there and sort of all turn towards you, but you definitely have time to sort of hit your back feet and like head out before they're going to do anything about it. Actually, make a grace spread to that effect. You realize that like you see these 3 people in the crowd that she saw before, and you realize that they have something in their hands, and so I'm going to give you sort of like an advantage to do something about that, but there's definitely about to do something in response.
What sort of action can I take?
You can take whatever action you think you'd like.
I've got a 11 to duck out.
Yeah, you out there not that fast, so you basically head back the way you came. All right, and you can sort of feel them on your tail, like they're levitating back towards you. Okay, what do you got?
I'm going to kind of picking up in the connection that I have with the rest of my wing, know that something's wrong. And see the three guys. I'm going to politely stand up and start saying my goodbyes. I'm going to go to one of them, grab the hand, and see what they got.
All right, it's a chant shard. And you're instantly sort of connected to the chant, and you can see, like almost like you fell back in time a bit. You can see the chant setting this trap. So these are cultists. You don't know from whom, and you can't figure out that yet. But they basically planted these cultists in this town and then left it alive so that you would come into it and they could pop the chant off while you're right in the middle of it. This guy can't activate his shard because you have your hands on it.
Okay.
So, but the other two guys, pull back their cloaks and hold up their chant shards and go like, "You'll never stop it, Phoenixes! The chant will take us all!" And then they crack the shards and they start chanting, and the whole mob basically like instantly, like in waves, becomes chanters. So all of a sudden you're basically inside like a double chant mob. Meanwhile, you're being chased back to town by the Whisperers that set this up. So you're at the edge of town, you're running back to him, so you see this go off, and you see people chanting and whatnot, and you're sort of in the middle there. So somebody take a torch.
I'm gonna. You want to go?
No, go for it.
Because otherwise, I'm gonna lunge into the crowd, having just seen what happened. But I'm gonna see what's in the environment first.
Yes, that's right. All right, so I'll let chat drop us a couple environmental objects. What sort of things would be in this environment? And can someone grab me a beer?
Yes, what would you like?
Whatever's there is fine, or the alcoholic root beer, whatever's fine. The bag of something is back in. Clock is not.
Thank you.
Not mining gear. Chant is still active in this.
I gotta say that was a very satisfying turn of events. Terrifying, but satisfying.
For me, for a refresher, the chant can't be stopped by taking out the people that started it, right? Once it's loose, it's
No,
loose.
you could burn the shards out. But I'm going to say that this entire chant mob. Well, there's two chant mobs here basically, and the Whisper Gestalt. So there's a total of 2 shards in this scene. Even though they're like several, there's one with Whisper Gestalt, and there's 3 more individual pieces there. There are 2 total shards in this scene.
Okay.
So, and I guess we're going to figure out how to do it without burning yourselves out, or not, in this combat. So, I'm going to put the wooden wall back into play too, so that's good. Environmental objects. Is Farquaad suggesting a beer as an environmental object? I'll take it. So.
Would not be the first time we've used alcohol before as an object.
I have to write it small, and it's a beer.
So I'm going to jump on the bear,
Yeah.
running into the ground.
All right, so we're going to do, let's see. I like that one. Farquaad will take that one as well. 1/2. They don't really have pickup trucks in this world, but we're going to say it's a half of half of an industrial wagon of some sort. So it's like it would be used for moving equipment around, and it's obviously like off its wheels. Half an industrial wagon.
Is the donkey still attached?
No, but he's probably around here somewhere, so that's good evidence that it exists.
Yes.
Here we go. Good old rack of weps. You're one of the guard checks. I'll still take a, hashtag Max Rack already hit the chat.
Yay.
Oh, yay. Okay, so Max on top of that. Let me.
Max on top, Max rack.
Yeah, Max on top of Max Rack. Morton Bite, there's your weapons rack right there. It happened while you were typing that. Okay, so let me put these. I'm gonna write out these monster stats while you are preparing an action, Mac. Talk us through it.
Let's see. Well, I'm going to go ahead and use Ruthless. Just going to let me draw a card, which is a good thing right now. I'm also going to go ahead and take a wound because that'll give an extra 5, and it's also going to let me flip my Talon,
Okay.
which is good stuff here. So let's see. That's going to give me that much. And then I'm going to use Ruthless. I'm sure
Okay.
this is all really surprising. I'm going to use this. Oh, I get to draw for the rack of weapons, too.
Mm-hmm.
That's helpful. Let's see. That's going to let me draw another card, which is helpful. So I'm also going to use Feed on Fear, because that'll let me draw another card. And I'm just throwing all the cards in the history of Everin right now.
Yay.
I don't know how fun this game is. Sorry.
No, I wasn't going to say anything important.
Wow, I'm just going to chew through like everybody in one go. Because I also have Power from Pain.
Nice.
And okay, so with the before I tally all of this crap, with the Feed on Fear, one of them tells that I'm attacking has to tell me what they're afraid of. I'm going after the large mob ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's one of the guys that had the shard.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I'm curious if it's the same thing that the Whisperers and everything were afraid of. So they have to tell me what they're afraid of. And I have to pick somebody in the wing to tell me what they're afraid of. Or they have to burn a spark.
I'll burn
And I'm well, or you have to tell me what you're afraid of.
I like my secrets.
That's perfectly valid use of that.
Okay. So let me
Fakwad, I see your suggestion of a tits-ready statue. I'm not going to add it to this scene, but it is a good suggestion. I've already given you two.
This is 10,
But, you know.
15, 16, 20,
Realize I've got secret pockets.
26, 30, 34.
34. Okay. And that's brutal damage, is it? No.
No.
Well, you're using the rack of weapon, so we'll make it brutal damage, because why not? And so that is going to be, well, let's see. That's going to be 10 health levels plus one more.
Hopefully one of them tells me what they're afraid of before they die.
Oh, they all do. But well, one of the cultists who has not yet been converted, but basically falls to the chant while this is happening, says something to the effect of, the dread is worse than this. Like falling to the chant as he's actively giving himself over to the chant. It's the guy you're actually holding hands with now. Like the chant gets to him, even though he didn't let the shard go. Falling to the chant is significantly better than whatever the dread has waiting for them if they fail on their mission. And then there's a name, and it's spoken in like the old Pyrean dialect, but you can't fully comprehend it. It is so like strange and ancient, but it sort of enters into your mind, and you're going to have to talk with your resident scholar about it later, and then you'll get the actual name.
Oh, great.
Great.
Is this thing still in play or no?
Yes. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and say for all of you Vari Inc. Shippers out there that the fact that Mac did almost 40 points of damage in one round of combat might have had something to do with the fact that she was fighting her way back to Inc. Maybe.
Maybe.
Ha! That scene happened against your will.
You know, the power of love
Kill
is
us
a
all.
curious thing. Makes one man weep. Makes another man sing. Things a hawk into a little white dove.
Nice.
Okay, well, just the
guys are
defeat and the
exhausting.
anger and being caught in such a fucking obvious trap washes over Ink. And even as the chant takes that guy over, I grab the shard and I fucking kick him into the mob.
Nice.
And I'm gonna open up a can of whoop-ass.
Do it.
Flip it over my talons so I become hidden, and I'm gonna use Hunter for 5, and there's 5. I'm gonna use Painful Truth, the secret about the enemy. Well, I'm gonna
That's a rough card, man.
flip it
Yeah.
back at them. You took the coward's way out.
All right, that's true.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, that's
It's
I
true.
know it's objective, but whatever. So that's 6. There's 11,
The way they
16,
secure it.
19. How do y'all feel about burning sparks for me?
Sure.
Do it to it.
I'm here to help.
Fuck you.
That would,
Yeah, that's about right.
that would put me up to 28.
How many
28.
Well, if each of you put a spark in, that would
I
be
can
28.
put 2 in if you want.
No, it only works for one. Heart of the Wing.
So there you go. So yeah, I just
Heart of the Wing.
I kick the guy to his doom, and I go hidden, and I just swath the destruction, and hi,
Hello.
Nope.
Oh,
have a little
Jesus.
bit of a chant.
Oh, I need to get you a.
So what does that mean?
Yikes.
Means that you're gonna put this in your discard pile when it comes up
And you
again.
take a
That's a
wound.
wound
Okay.
to you.
Did I volunteer myself for that wound?
Oh, and I should have.
How did
No,
that
but
happen?
I got to give to somebody.
And you're nearby.
Yeah,
There you go. So put this in your discard pile.
Okay.
So it's not going to come back into your hand until you shuffle your discard pile back in. But when you eventually draw it, you take a wound, you hand that to somebody else, and you.
Well,
And
you.
that's it, yeah.
I mean, you keep it in your deck. but,
Yeah. All right. So you said 28 was the total.
28.
Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and so we'll make that 27. So I'll say that they're exposed to that.
Okay.
So that is 27. So that is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 25, 26, 27. You basically kill the entire rest of that mob in one.
That's
I'm
fucking
that
teamwork.
It's like no. It's my equivalent of screaming con.
Yes. I feel like because you kicked him and then this all happened, it's sort of like one of those like
Domino effects?
No, like one of those
Wait,
like
hold on. Speaking of domino
oh yeah,
effects.
one of those
yeah.
Japanese Shaolin soccer sort of style things where you kick him and then like the force of your kick blows all the rest of them back.
Yeah.
I'll sign off on that.
Yeah. And they wire affect them all, so they're all kind of like spinning as they fly into the back. Although, if you have not seen The Handmaiden, do. It doesn't have any actual kung fu in it, but it's incredible, incredible film. Also, weirdly and aggressively erotic. Yeah.
That's how I like my eroticism.
Yeah, apparently in Korean cinema, you can just have full-on porn in a regular mainstream movie, and no one says anything about
Is it blurring?
No.
No, that's
No,
that's
he
Japanese.
No, like he said,
Yeah.
full on.
No,
Yeah.
it is just they're I mean they're romantic scenes. They're not like they're not there gratuitously, but they're just there like in full form. Everyone's naked. It's present. It's very visceral. Yeah.
It's almost like they're people.
Yeah, it's like yeah, it's that's
that
what happens
like?
when you don't touch your shit. Anyway, so that's one mob entirely down. So there's there's another mob that's sort of all interspersed within this one, and the and they're actually going to act now. So
And I turn and look at you and I was like, let's get the rest of them. Let's go.
What do you think I'm doing?
So both of you have an attack 7 from the Chanter mob. They start at 7. So that's it.
Us?
Yeah, 7.
Okay.
That's it. They could have attacked the whole wing with this, but the other two of you aren't there. So
Bam.
you're fine.
I'm gonna go ahead and use Horrific Vision, and it's gonna make them exposed
All right.
for the rest of the scene, but also myself, so that kind of sucks. And then lay down another, so that gives me 6.
Okay. So that is 1. You know what? No, I'm gonna not wound you for that. You did enough sacrifice. You sacrificed your defense for the rest of the scene. I'll go ahead and say that you managed to sort of scare them out of that
Yeah,
experience.
I have 0 defense.
Yes, this would be a good time to remind chat about our positive flares, or all the flares, to be fair.
Oh yes. Yes.
But yes, for a minor donation here to keep the lights on at Saving Throw Show, you can trigger their positive and/or negative abilities for all these characters. The donations tab will tell you all you need. Yes, Max in particular, Shadow Wolf, allows her an additional defense card.
So
which
that'll give me
is,
a whole 1 right
yes,
now.
which she's currently at 0. So keep Mac alive to use her rack. No, regret that instantly. But you can do all that there. So check it out. Okay, so.
There we go. No.
All right, so the Whisper Gestalt is chasing you. right? So they're going to throw a telekinetic slam at you, but I'm going to say that because like you're dodging in and out of corners, like the full force of whatever giant object they throw at you, the combine harvester or whatever they throw at you, is it hits the walls too, so it's going to be reduced. So instead of being an attack 14, we're going to call it an attack 9. So it's an attack 9, but it can basically do full damage. So every point of this you don't defend is a wound, which means it could, if you don't defend against it entirely, it will actually just take you down.
This half a wagon, does it have any wheels on it?
Yeah.
Is it just like
I mean, again, these are yours to determine. So yes, of course
Okay.
it does. It has whatever you want on it. And remember, these two, this one here and this one here, are still in play. The ones that I put the purple
right,
outline on, they haven't been used.
And those are anything.
It's a bag of whatever you want. It's a bag of a thing that is useful.
Useful things are useful.
Survivor and shrug it off, so I got 9 there.
You're fine. It's still chasing you. You're about another round, unless you turn back and fight it, obviously. But if you let it continue chasing you towards the town, you have another round of this sort of combat against it before it gets into like play with everybody else. All right, so one of the two of you can go, or either of you can go, and you're both going to go in whatever order you'd like.
Sure. Quick question: what the mobs are that we're facing right now? Because
There's-
I know he cleared out a whole crowd of good dudes.
There's another 100 basically
Okay.
infected people
God.
that are all still part of that crowd. It just so happens, by the way, the ones that you cleared out are specifically tied to one shard.
Okay.
I'm not. You can make either of you. So you could do this now if you wanted to. Can make an observation spread or a lore spread to determine which shards go to which, because one of those shards is also the one that the Whisperers have. So you know that one is if you take that shard out, you deanimate the entire mob.
Oh, okay. It's connected then. Okay. So is there a big section of this mob that none of my wing are in? None of my friends are in that group.
Yeah,
All right. So can I use more than one object? Can I use 2?
you can. You only can draw a card from one.
That's fine.
And you wouldn't knock the other one off, but like you can, if you want to make reference to another one, I'll definitely take that into effect.
Sure. So Fade's not very strong, so she has to be clever. So she's learned to be very clever. She sees another bag of those explosives that you saw earlier. So another bag sitting against the wall. She also sees this half wagon. So she runs over and she grabs these explosives. She puts them in the wagon, and she's hidden. So she just picks up, starts running, gets it going on a momentum, and just lets it go flying into a crowd and hopes it does explode and does a lot of damage.
Which of those two do you want to mark off for this?
I'm gonna go with the half.
Okay, so half wagon. Someone can knock. You want to grab that? Sure. Someone can knock that off. So the half wagon is out of play.
Don't forget to draw a card for that.
Sure. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. In that case, I'm gonna put this down first. It's gonna help me remain hidden. So basically, I'm invisible running, so everyone just sees a cart going. I'm
Nice.
completely invisible. I'm also
Not the weirdest thing I've seen.
right. Now you guys probably know what's going on because you know me very well. I think that's as high as I can get that right now.
All right.
And you don't even know what
Is
you're
this
afraid
isn't
of.
a skill spread, is
you
it?
know
No, it's
first.
not.
No.
Okay, so that's
right?
pretty much all I have. So I'm running. I'm going to
So-
let it go and throw it into the.
Technically, you're attacking with one of your 2 attacks, right? So, oh fuck.
What?
Nightsteed, thank you. Nightsteed just activated all 4 of your positive flares.
Oh,
oh my
shit.
goodness!
Thank you, Nightsteed.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
All right, so
In that case,
so
I
you
can stay invisible, right?
well, you because of the card, I think you can stay invisible. But they're exposed and vulnerable to you because
Excellent.
you are seeing into their brain.
Excellent.
Um,
oh yeah, that's right.
Hold on a second here.
Sure.
Yeah, all right. So my producer, Mr. Pope, is correct. The Pope is correct. And only
Infallible,
this
Frank.
specific circumstance. Let's go through what all of your positive flares are because
Yes,
chat
let's.
may not be used to that. So yours is Fade In, which basically puts you're sort of like gain a slight empathic / psychic connection to anyone you're looking at.
So what I'm gonna, can I just say how I'm gonna use that? Because
Yeah.
I just thought of it. Well, I'm gonna use that to aim what direction I'm letting go of the cart because I know which way they're gonna run. So I'll get as many as possible.
And because the
Okay.
chant gestalts work as one big group, looking at any of them tells you where they're all going to go.
Excellent.
So I think you still have another card in that spread if you want to add one to it, because you used a skill, you used a trait and 2 cards, and I think it's a 3-card attack if you're using Shadow Knife. So
Excellent.
so you can add one more into that.
So I'm going to, because we're underground, I'm going to use this card, Painful Truth, to reveal a secret about the enemy that they are afraid of fire and light because they're underground. So I'm going to use these explosions to stun them and also make that a 5 instead
Yeah.
of a 1.
I'll say that because this is an
6,
entire.
actually.
What's that?
6.
Okay.
6.
Is it 6?
Yes.
Because
I added
they're
2.
because they're
Oh,
entirely Shadowvari mob, they've carried their sort of inherent distrust of being outside their caves into this chant mob, and so yes, that will definitely affect them. Okay, so that was yours. So that's Fade In. You have Horror Movie Teleport, which basically means now that every round you don't attack, you count as hidden,
Don't forget that.
and you can remove that hidden condition to teleport next to any of your friends. Thank you again, Nightsteed, for all these. You have the Shadow Wolf, so the sort of shadowy the fearer wolf that sort of comes off the back of you allows you an amount of defensive control because it basically absorbs blows / confuses people as what you are. Love those Displacer Beasts. So you get a... they're the cutest... By the way, I'm sorry, Displacer Beasts are cute. I would totally have one as a pet. You know, it'd be
Pumas
great.
With tentacles?
What's that?
Pumas with tentacles?
Yeah, they're tentacle pumas.
There's a really great allusion to that in an episode of Adventure Time just called Dungeon. But Clancy Brown plays a Displacer Beast, essentially.
Oh, nice.
Greetings, human boy Frank. How did you almost know my name? I have approximate knowledge of many things.
That's great.
All right.
But right now, that gives me 1 card,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
1.
still better than 0 cards.
And, well, if you attack them successfully, again, you'll remove your exposed condition.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
You, Mike, you gain everywhere and nowhere, which means you are now attacking all threats in the scene every time you attack, which is great because that puts a lot of damage places. So, that was your attack. What was the total number? Can we return to that?
Let's see,
Yeah.
there's 6 there.
It was, I think that was the top one. So there was like a 6, 9, 14, 16?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 16.
Okay, so 16. So what I'm going to do is, because they're already exposed and vulnerable because of your Fade In ability, I'm going to remove their remaining defense. So they have no defense against this, and it's brutal damage of 16. So that is, well, that's 5 right there, and then 1 more. So that's a big chunk of them go up in the explosion. And I am going to, what am I going to do to represent the fear condition that you're applying to them? Well, and you're not exposed. The next time that you are not hidden, they still want to attack you because you've assaulted them emotionally. You get one free where they're like, oh, she had light and that wasn't very fun.
We didn't let her hurt us. Great, excellent.
All right. So who else wants? It's your torch.
I'm gonna duck out and pop up right next to Ink.
All right. Thump. All right. That we'll say is a free condition, so you have your entire turn,
Hot dog.
and there's a bunch of chanters around you.
All right. Well, I'm gonna. What do I need to hit him? 6.
They have a defense of 3.
So to take down a level, it's
6 per level.
yeah. Gotta do it this way.
Staccato attack fun.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3 separate attacks for 7 each.
Okay. That's 3 right there.
Don't
Good
forget
job.
your jumbling tower.
Yeah, don't make sure you jumble the tower.
God.
No.
That's the best move I've ever seen. That was great. What?
All right, wait until
Actually
you
watching
see
it on
that
the replay
happen
right
in chat, and then click the clip button so we get a clip of that.
I'm watching it right now. It's amazing.
Yeah, if you hit the little clip button, it will. You got to do it on the laptop,
That was great.
and it will.
my
It
God.
looks like a little clapper board, and that will take that. I got one for your show where you did something really funny too. I can't remember what it was.
Good.
Um,
I'm gonna try. It's gonna fail horribly when I do it.
okay, so they're gonna attack. The Whisperer is not yet on the scene because he's still chasing you, which means yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and make it a rank 8 attack on all 3 of you.
It's funny.
I don't actually have any defense in my hand right now.
How about +3?
Okay, and I do have a 1, so that would give me 4, and I have Vengeful, so I could burn 2 sparks and make an attack back against them.
Okay.
So yeah, I kind of do my inky thing to try to deflect a little bit off her before I
And I get to
successfully
draw
defend
back
myself.
up.
Okay. It's 2 wounds back. Oh, that's 3 wounds back.
Oh yeah.
Who gets the chant?
Yeah, Jimmy.
Oh wait, hold on. Actually, I will say this. This is up to your moral code. There are definitely the fringes of the initial crowd are running away. You can feel very confident that they will probably get infected by the chant in a few seconds as it is, as the whole cave is echoing the chant. If you want, you can give the chant to a person.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Bye.
What is this moral code you speak of?
all right. So instead of adding that to the wing, which is good news, you basically are just some guy's I made it out, and you're by the way, and then he's oh shit,
David have got no rhythm.
it's Careless Whisper.
Guilty feet. Guilty feet.
All right, and then go ahead and make my attack back against them.
Yes, please.
All right, so that's going to give me 12, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and it's all brutal damage.
All right, so that's actually 20 because they're at 3 defense.
3
Oh wait,
wounds.
no, they just successfully attacked you, so they're no longer exposed from you. They are to you still because of your ability. So that is still 20. So that is wow. So 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 1. There we go. They're almost out.
And that bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, wait, no, because you were defending.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
just an
sorry.
offense
Yeah.
action.
I've got an 8 defense and then counterattack of 8.
Oh yeah. That is going to be 1 more of that, and 8 defense against 9. Was that, or was it 8? Was it an attack of 8 or 9?
8.
8. You're fine. Cool. All right. So one of you can finish off this chant mob. You can already sort of hear and smell the ozone of the Whisperer Gestalt coming down the tunnel, and you can sort of see objects near the edge of the tunnel start levitating up with telekinetic
It
energy.
was only an attack, and it's okay.
I'll do it.
Okay, I could do it also because I was only making an attack back. So it's up to you.
They have 9 total health and a defense of 3.
I'll do it. I mean,
Although I could probably take them down in 1 card.
it's up to you. Okay.
Fuck those guys.
Fuck those guys.
So right now I have 11, and that's all brutal damage. How much do I need in total?
You need a total of 12. So put down the smallest card you have and get it.
I'm not going to use the Death Wish part of it.
All right.
Well, I might as well, because honestly, I've got 1 point left.
All right, so you destroy the remainder of these chanters. So there are 3 shards on the ground here, and you actually can see that they're starting to slowly drag on the ground towards where the Whisperer Gestalt is.
Hell, they are.
All right, you can probably get them without having to make a spread.
Yeah.
So the Whisperer is going to be here soon.
do I need
I
to
would
do?
point you essentially have time for 1 more action.
Can I run over to her and give her another one of these glowy orby healthy things?
You definitely can. I was
can-
going to heavily suggest that, so I'm glad you got there on your own.
Observation spread?
Yeah.
Or lore or something?
You want to catch it?
So there's 10.
I tried that one earlier. And stuff has moved
22.
around enough.
22 for observation or lore or whatever, just to kind of figure out the shards and
Okay.
everything.
So,
Oh, so you're giving me one of the
ampules.
Oh, good. I'm
Yes.
using all of these. Blah, 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 blah.
That's your job.
There you go.
Heal for 3. You discover that these 4 shards represent a total of 2, chant outbreaks. One of them is entirely based, like the shard is still here, but the chant, all chanters of it are dead. It will, if you bring it near mortals, or if like someone were to wander over, if someone were to put it in the microwave, like evil style, they would be infected with the chant. Nobody, no,
Time Bandits.
no
I got
Time
it.
Bandits
Yeah,
fans. But so you still need to find a way to, like, you can't carry this around with you because like every mortal you find will be infected. But that chant shard is those 2 chant shards of the 3 that are on the ground are essentially non-factors. Take a wound
Oh no.
and give that to somebody.
Or throw it this way. I don't care.
No. Sorry, Chin.
There you go. Remember that when you cure these shards, you'll also remove one from each of your decks.
Well, Ink is feverishly going over this in his
Oh.
mind because he can hear the whispering coming closer. And he's like, there has to be some way that we can do this
Well-
without burning ourselves out.
That shard that the Whisperer has is connected to one of the ones you have. So if you can burn this shard out, or if you can take this shard out, it will turn the Whisperers off.
Okay.
I should tell you that.
All right.
All right. So we'll do the sort of collaborative storytelling model here. What do you think is a way? How would you, in the story arc of this, make it such that you could not spend as many sparks as you normally have to spend to take these out?
I mean, we've certainly done it a lot of times before.
I mean, we each give a little bit of ourselves. This is
Surely, if this was intended to
real.
save the Shadow Bar, that there are incantations and religious rituals for blessing from the Shadow Bar themselves that
sort
would
of
apply.
an anti-chant, if you will. Would the true name that we discovered come into play at any point?
You're gonna need to just, like, spend downtime days
Okay.
essentially to take care of that.
Okay.
It's a big reveal.
I haven't told you yet.
Guys are so silly.
But that said, you
Sorry,
could.
spoiler for like 25-year-old movie.
Yeah. But also a spoiler probably for 25-year-olds who haven't seen that movie
Right.
because because modern people are terrible. All right, so you that's not a bad. Okay, so we can work with that. You feel like involving Shadowvari magic. Shadowvari magic is necromantic in nature. So there are a number of corpses here.
Okay.
Where do you want to? Do you want to? I mean, some
Just
of them.
rub the shard on the corpses.
Get out! Some of them are.
Ew.
Nope, that didn't work.
Some of them are chant husks that have fallen down. Some of them are like people who were bludgeoned by the chant mob. I should point out there's different types of corpses.
Okay.
So, necromantic magic, necromantic rites from the Shadowvar. Anyone else have any ideas on how you might be able to cure this? Fade, you're also an
I knew I
expert on
should
such
know
things.
some stuff like this.
How many more of those vials do you have?
Oh.
I say we try it.
Oh.
Just try it with one of the vials.
All right.
Cleanse it with-
See if somehow the concentrated dawn energy can somehow negate it. And also try and find the anti-chant.
No, that actually.
You're the scholar.
Okay.
So are you, my friend.
All right, so here's what I'll do. I will let you. That will count as 10, basically.
Okay.
So that's 10 of, I believe, what is it, 25 you need? Mm-hmm. And the whole wing can contribute. So can we get 15 total? So it's like 4 each would be 12. Mm-hmm. And then 2 wants to put in the remaining 3. Oh, there's 3 from Fade, so you just need 4 each.
All right. And this is the one that's connected to the Whisperers.
Yes. So that the Whisperer Gestalt, like, basically comes around the corner. I imagine like a haunting blue light. Objects are starting to pick themselves up, and then the objects go back down, and the Whisperers go, and then sort of fall.
I kind of picture them as they're going down.
And that
Actually, I was thinking bedknobs and broomsticks, where they kind of
Oh, yeah,
deflate
yeah.
at the end
Yeah.
after she's done with the magic.
Yeah.
and the chant shard that was with them goes like, and flies and connects to the one you have, and that connects to the whole like pile you have of cured shards behind you. So you still have 2 active shards that are all one chant outbreak that you can now sort of cure at your leisure. Do you want to experiment more with that?
Yeah.
I walk over to the bag of dicks.
That's all I've had in my head the whole time I've been looking
empty
at this
them
thing.
out on top of the ship.
You guys
Okay.
still
So
have
glad I'm
your
not the only
vials
one.
too, yes?
Driving
Yeah.
crazy.
Okay.
But I mean, we're running out of sparks, and who knows what we're going to get into.
I know,
all right,
that's why
you
I'm saying if you both have your vials, that gives us that's 2 more vials on the table here.
I want to see if it fits.
what is? Oh, how very interesting. Oh, very cool.
What?
Where did you get that?
A fan sent it to me. It's a kraken. It's to protect me at sea because I'm terrified of the ocean.
Of all the people to have traveled here overseas,
I know. I was like this the whole time, like, oh.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little dumb today, so what direction are you pointing me in with the Shadowvari Necromancy?
you can use the freshly killed bodies as sparks as well. I'll
Okay.
say there's a spark each there.
Okay.
Would a live Shadowvari child, would there be a way to bind, not kill the kid, but to, in some way, since it is
killing
it is
children.
intended to be protective magic, like the innocence of a Shadowvar child, maybe bind the magic to the child and somehow diffuse it?
It is not that kind of protective magic. Okay, so why don't we do this? So you spend some time, a little bit of time, sort of setting up something, and in it you're able to do a little bit of sort of research or whatever. And this is what you've come up with: that the chant was a defensive spell the Shadowvari used against someone who was attacking them, and it was meant. If you look at like sort of lyrics of the chant. Oh, by the way, everyone can remove 1 affliction from their decks because you you killed 1 shard. One of you, I think, at least one of you probably has. I don't know. Maybe these are the only ones that are out
That's the
there.
only one I've got.
Yeah, I only have.
Oh, nice.
All right, cool. That doesn't suck so much.
So you feel like this was created initially as sort of like a scorched earth policy, essentially, against an attacker, right? It was created, but it was a specific circumstance where the Shadowvari were under attack from someone. They were losing. They used this to hold off / kill that attacker. And if you look at sort of while you have the chant sort of kicking around in your brain, like the chant lyrics are essentially like, now you will dance with us in death, sort of. Now you will also suffer what you reap and everything, or you will reap what you sow, or however it goes, but in various different languages and mutations over time. And it was designed as a spell to end when those attackers were gone. And it may have. This might have been thousands of years ago, but something new has sort of woken it up, and now there is no end condition for the spell.
Can we create a sort of replacement target, a thing that reconstitutes the old enemy, kind of like a voodoo doll, and sort of let the shards pour its energy into that, like a sacrificial lamb. The scapegoat is what I'm thinking of.
It's a clever plan. Certainly airy.
You think that you could burn only a few sparks to sort of ignite the sort of magic that would allow you to sort of make some fresh corpses into a potential target.
Okay. Never tried this before, but here we go. How many sparks do you want?
We're going to use the Dice of Destiny here. Go ahead and roll for that.
2.
2. So it's 2 sparks.
Okay.
But Fade also has to roll because somehow in the spell, like Fade's magic is caught up in it, and you sort of, like, you can, as he's doing the incantation, you can sort of feel it drag on your energy. So how many sparks does it pull off you? 3. So lose 3. And you were able to quiet those 2 shards.
Okay.
And hand me back my gravity dice.
Oh, that was unpleasant.
And like the corpses like wilt and like cavort in strange, weird ways.
Ew.
Hand you a beer.
Fade runs over and goes, oh no.
Yeah. I think you and I both just kind of sit looking at each other knowingly for a second, just like,
Are you sweaty as well?
So we'll go ahead and sort of spend some deliberate RP time here.
Okay.
So obviously you're going to head out, but as the conversations here around this table will take no more than 5 minutes. I suppose you also have those 5 minutes to sort of talk with each other. So any pairings of you or groups of you that want to have any sort of dialogues, this would be the time to do it, because the next stop is the continuing travel and then going deeper into the mountain.
Whatever, I'm sitting far away from this group. I'm still mad at you.
For what?
See last episode.
Fair enough.
What happened?
We had a discussion about methodologies, and apparently Varya was not prepared for the truth.
I heard that!
I smelled that.
That's my truth fart. I don't know what that is.
Does anyone want to have any conversation? Does anyone want to press fade
Yeah.
on her?
Fade, your appearance in this particular circumstance, while fortuitous, seems incredibly well timed, and I have read a lot of stories. I realize that Dawn Command occasionally sends people on what, for lack of a better term, could be called secret missions, but as we are all once and future wingmates, I entreat you to be honest with us.
I was trying to find out something, and we found out something potentially quite bad, but potentially quite good. But I'm going to have to ask you to trust me that I will tell you when the time is ready, but if I tell you now, it would only be confusing.
I suppose I'll have to accept that answer.
I apologize.
Eerie?
Now you know what it's like.
Both
Very
confusing and
sorry.
adorable.
Very
All right.
sorry. Let's go.
All right, so you head off down. The Mac has separated her M&Ms by color. You.
I mean, how many times do I have to tell you guys? I'm a little neurotic. I sit and restraight my cards and the sparks all the time.
Yes.
And
It's okay.
it helps me function in this world.
It keeps the voices quiet.
Yes, I also separated them by number count as well, just in case you were wondering.
That's great.
Well, you're gonna call me out on it. You're gonna get all the details.
No, I'm with you. You know, what stream was I on? I was on some stream recently, and I think it was like Erica did like a Thanksgiving stream or something, and people were commenting like, "Oh my God, your food is touching!" Like they were like really upset.
Oh, I don't
that-
like my
funny.
food touching at all.
Yeah.
Oh, that irritates me so bad.
Yeah.
Like Damon Wayne's character in
What
Toys.
the actual fuck, man?
No, that was
no.
LL Cool J.
At least,
LL
at
Cool
least
J?
it's
Yeah.
one. Like
'Cause
one's
he's
okay.
sitting
I
at
can get
the
through what I
cafeteria
have,
table, and he's
so
like,
I can
no,
justify
P's
this.
gotta
I'll
be
make it
here.
work.
Here,
Yeah.
yeah, it was LL Cool J.
Toys is one of those movies that as a kid I thought was really fantastic, and then slightly later on I was like, okay, I'm kind of
So
over this, and now
creepy.
it's creepy.
It's
Now it's all creepy all the time.
Yes. Yes, I thought that was very creepy when it came out.
Ugh, I don't want to ruin it for anybody if you haven't seen the terribleness that is that movie, but you should definitely see it. It's worth seeing once.
Yeah, of course.
See it as a duet with
See
Jeff
everything
Smoochie.
once.
Yeah.
And then go see Fantastic Beasts because it's awesome. It's a great movie.
Who is the blonde in that movie? Like the flapper blonde character?
The sister,
Yeah, who's
Very
part
very
of...
cute strawberry blonde.
I can't remember the actress's name. I looked her up. She's actually a brunette with very odd, choppy, short haircut. I was like, oh, okay. She looks completely different out of that character.
That movie just reminds me. I don't necessarily feel like I think the Harry Potter universe applies as effectively to all time periods, but I think that I love magic as interpreted from various time periods. One of my favorite movies ever is a Dennis Hopper film called Witch Hunt, in which Dennis Hopper is H.P. Lovecraft, the detective, who is a detective in Hollywood where magic is real, and so like Hollywood is
Excellent.
magic powered. and there's a like McCarthy era anti-magic campaign because magicians are like made equatable with communists, and H.P. Lovecraft and Hippolyta Kropotkin, his voodoo priestess like office mate, have to save magic for Hollywood.
And then
Wow.
there was a sequel, Cast a Deadly Spell.
I think that was actually the prequel. I don't
was
know.
it?
They're very
I always
different
forget-
films because
yeah.
like the Cast of the Spell is like very much a detective story, also H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Also
Yeah,
Clancy Brown.
application of timeline in magic was really interesting with the 20s, so I
like
thought
the
they did
20s
a
and
really good
30s,
job of
yeah.
it. It's not a perfect movie, but it's really a lot of fun.
I agree with that.
Also, I
definitely.
want a Niffler, so.
I know. I loved how I think it was Bob, my boyfriend, that said it perfectly. He was like, "This movie's perfectly made for the kids that grew up watching Harry Potter and are now our age. Like it's darker, it's grittier, it's a little bit."
What
a
an
little bit
interesting
thicker
way
in
to
story.
think of it, because
It
like
aged
I
with
grew up
us.
with the books,
Yeah.
and then the movies, the Harry Potter films,
Yeah.
didn't do it for me.
Really?
I don't like the
I
films.
like the books and I like the
But
films.
Fantastic Beasts was okay
And
because
I like
I
that
didn't
too,
have
yeah. It wasn't
stuff
as,
to be angry about.
It wasn't goofy, and I think that's probably maybe why you didn't like it. It didn't have the British goof, but actually my boyfriend Bob missed that about the Harry Potter universe. It didn't have the same kind of kind of thing that
My problem-
English comedy has.
I mean,
and-
I love English comedy.
Hmm.
I watched it pretty much my entire life, but the movies I think are just kind of weak, and they have a lot of plot points that are
Sure.
absent that are crucial.
I mean, they're made for kids, and they did definitely take out a lot of storyline parts that I liked. But
Well, they took out stuff that was
entertained as
important.
well.
I have a friend who's
sure.
watching them for the very first time.
Yeah.
And doing,
Crying.
she's writing them up, and she's never read the books. So
Oh,
she's
interesting.
watching the movies completely fresh without
Wow.
any knowledge of Harry Potter at all. And seeing her comments and seeing her go, I don't understand why people like this character. I don't understand why this is working this way. I don't
Yeah.
understand this, because there's
feel
so
like that
much
happens a lot.
important book context. They go,
Yeah.
everybody read the book, so we don't need to put that in there.
Yeah, I
So
understand
if you're
that.
coming at it blind,
I've heard that
there's
before as
moments
well.
where it's like
Yeah.
like
I've
she
heard-
didn't understand why Umbridge was so low, because she's like,
Sure.
oh, she's annoying. But if you read the books, you're like, I want her to die. Like
Yeah.
Voldemort sucks, but Umbridge needs to die first.
Yeah, that's a really good point. They definitely do assume that you already go in with some knowledge.
It's a problem with Dune.
I think the problem with
movie's
most books to movies.
Kind of a hot mess if you haven't read the books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only seen the movie.
Yeah, me too.
I regrettably will also say that my girlfriend hates the Dune movie because it is not even close to the book
Yeah.
in many ways. I kind of love the movie's terrible, weird, campy universe.
Oh, I kind of just giggled my way
It's
through it.
beautiful. My
Yeah.
God. Even now, it still holds up.
It was entertaining. There's obviously more going on than I could suss out from the film, but it was interesting.
All right, before we get off this tangent, what if you could pick one universe, like one established? Do you be the
To live
Pokemon
in it?
universe?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Nice. Good. Dive right in there.
You and Michael Vick.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pokemon love to fight. They were just
I had so
letting them
many
do what they
so
want.
many different feelings came through with that. I was like, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
Well, fully acknowledging that it is kind of a terrible place to live since it was my first fictional universe that I became intimately acquainted with, I'm going to say Star Wars.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that's hard, because really it's taking good with the bad, and so much of the stuff that I enjoy, like, there's a lot of things that are awesome about it, but there's also a lot that's a bit shit. Probably the Harry Potter universe, but maybe not in the darkest timeline when Voldemort's running around
feel like
and the
maybe-
Death Eater racists
Maybe
are,
after
are
Harry
in full
Potter.
force.
Yeah.
I feel like the implication of that question too is that you get to be like within the realm of like the interesting characters.
Right,
of
you're
that
not just some normal person in this universe.
because it wouldn't be
Yeah.
very interesting to be in the Pokemon universe and just be like a person who owns a farm
Yeah.
and like
or be in
Pokemon
Harry
trainers.
Potter and be a squib.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
Yeah, I mean, like,
congratulations.
being a squib would be pretty balls.
Yeah.
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 Or
Worse
to
than
be
a
in
Muggle.
Star Wars and just be like literally a moisture farmer that nothing happens to.
Yeah.
You pour the milk.
Well, reckon I'm going to go to bed now that the sun's upset.
Wake up in
Alright.
the morning, have my blue milk, and
Someone with a lightsaber runs through your life once, and you're like, "Ooh,
Oh, did you see that?
circumstance over."
So
I
that
I
happened.
want to see that. I want to see some stories told in that universe from the point of view
That's
of
a
people
re-
that
I
are
bet that'd
really
be-
just mundane and are just on the the edge of everything, and they're just getting
There has to be
bits and
Well, I'm
pieces.
going to
specific
go
fanfic
down
for
to the
Right.
station for my Life Day presents, and I'll be back by and by.
Well, you know
Several
that,
hours later, here I am.
they're Amish,
New
yes.
England, yeah.
Well, you know that there's like an author. I've never actually read one of his books, but there's like an author on Amazon who writes like short erotic fiction that is all like insane. Like
Erotic
I was
fiction?
mounted by the Velociraptor or something terrible
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Oh my
Porn.
god.
That sounds like
Like
something
Bigfoot
Tina
porn.
Belcher writes.
Yeah, his name is Chuck
Yes.
Tingle.
But
Chuck Tingle.
Her erotic fan fiction. Friend fiction.
And I think Chuck Tingle is the one that writes like the something something pounded in the butt. But there's a bunch of other ones that are like, you know, the teddy bear Holocaust and other things like that people write. I think another version of those like strange cottage fictions would be the boring world books where it's just literally like somebody who lives on Coruscant and it's like a 20 chapter book of their day-to-day lives
love that.
and like 2 references to Jedi. Like, because they see them on TV.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
it. And you just keep writing a boring universe book.
I like that very much. Some lightsaber battles happening that happened in the stories, and they're
Yeah.
often they're like, I could see lights flashing. I didn't really know what was going on, but you know,
Yeah.
Mother was cooking her pie again.
But I had to catch an Uber home. My
would
answer
be
is
funny.
Tron. I think, for whatever reason, I always wanted to live on the grid.
also, we skipped Chan.
Yeah, what do you got?
But I
That's
want to hear your
great. That's my
justification for
favorite.
Tron.
Land of the
what-
Barbershop
what-
Quartet.
Shit, what was it thing? The Girl Genius universe.
Ooh.
Phil and Kaya Folio have this gloriously wonderful steampunk universe. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
What about you, Mr. Pope? If you could live in any fictional universe, what would it be?
Teletubbies.
Either Pokemon or the World of Darkness.
Oh, wow.
World of Darkness.
World of
Deep cut.
Darkness.
World of Darkness is a role-playing game, sort of shared universe that's Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse,
Mage the Ascension.
Mage the Ascension, Prometheans, Wraith.
That's a different game line.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was.
There's 2 worlds now. There's
Oh.
There's classic Coke and New Coke.
But it's all the creepy crawlies, and you're one of them.
Wow.
It's essentially, you
It's
know,
like Underworld.
It's pretty
Yeah.
much how I live
Yeah.
my life every day.
Yes.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
What would you be though?
Changeling.
Okay.
oh yeah, that's
Or actually, scratch that. I'm a mage because there's no downside.
There you go.
I've always been attracted to the grid. I think the Tron universe sounds fun.
Would you fight for the users?
Yeah, probably. I mean, you know, once you hand me an identity disc, I'm gonna want to do stuff with it. So like, I'll be bouncing it off shit all day long.
One word: light cycle.
Oh yeah. Tron Legacy is one of those movies that like I had a particularly great date when it came out. Like I also really liked that the like Tron universe. It's not a very good film by any stretch of the imagination.
Terrible.
But in Tron Legacy, they basically expand on the stuff you can carry in your pocket that you like crack open and it becomes a vehicle world where they have like planes and different types of motorcycles and like B bombers, you know, like
And apparently bars.
yeah. I just like the idea that you can just be like, oh no, I need to get, like, oh, where did I park my car? Oh yes, it's in this pocket. Click, and then like, you know, res up a car. Like, that's
so you
cool.
want to be Mary Poppins?
Yes, that's kind of
It's a shame because I feel like they definitely did shoot themselves in the foot as far as continuing that movie franchise goes, because it could have been something great, man. And honestly, also one of my favorite film soundtracks ever.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's a
Oh,
great
definitely.
soundtrack. It's just a terrible movie.
Yeah.
Fans,
Actually-
viewers,
Okay.
what universe would you live in?
Here's
Yes.
a really fun thing to do with Tron Legacy, though, is watch it with the assisted dialogue. So it describes to you everything that's going on. Because, like, the scene where they're undressing the guy, the gem and whatever,
Yeah.
are undressing him, was like, it sounds like the narrator's really into what he's seeing and really into watching him being undressed. It's actually really funny to watch with the assisted narration on.
Awesome.
All right, let's get back into it. So, what you have learned? So you've learned that the chant was essentially like a vengeful spell cast in a specific circumstance, and you've also learned that you can create like a sort of scapegoat scenario where you can extinguish shards. That's of course if you have the time to do so and fresh bodies, which isn't necessarily always the case. And you've learned now that this is the second or third major example of the chant itself taking an active attempt to take you guys out. So what is your plan of action?
And we've got, what, 1 or 2 more that we've got to get rid of the shards.
No,
Well, no, all the shards here on this
Shards are
scene are
gone,
gone.
yeah.
Okay, so we did take, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Just-
feel like we gotta hustle, especially if it knows we're coming. If we can get the drop on it even a tiny bit,
We've got to get to the center of this.
gotta get to the center of this.
All right. So, you arrive after some time on your journey. Various, you've gone through little pit stoppy sort of 2-building towns that are empty. Some of them are covered in blood, where clearly there was a major chant outbreak recently. Nothing really gets in your way, or we'll say maybe there's the occasional chant mob, short chant mob that you just take out. Varia just kind of cleans her claws on briefly, and then you continue. Eventually, you reach the deepest that any of you have ever gone or heard of someone going in the Shadowvari
mouth.
caves. Into the mouth, yes, deep in the mouth.
The gullet.
And this is a large,
Uh,
multi-story
I think it's a stalagmite.
city. Just tights hang down.
Yeah.
might go up.
Mites
It might go up. So this is, imagine a big, empty, spherical cave, but gigantic. And there are several multi-story buildings coming from the ground up, but there are also hanging stalagmite buildings that have been hollowed out and infrastructure up there to connect things. This is the most built up Shadowvari city that you've ever seen, but it's also covered in a layer of dust, and there are natural winds that blow through these caves from the various entrances, including the mouth, that sort of move around things around, and so occasionally there'll just be a dust eddy that will create a small dust tornado that will sort of pass through briefly.
Next time on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yes. Dust when that's the real budget lack there.
Dust
Oh
tornado.
no, a tornado of dust, and you just see
My allergies.
Oh, that was mildly inconvenient.
oh, that was terrible.
But 6 people
Credits.
died for no reason.
yeah.
I don't think I should
Tripped over.
besmirch Sharknado right now because they're
I've also
launching the
I've also
bleeding
written
month.
commercials for the last 3 Sharknadoes. I love
But
Sharknado.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. All right, so this is a large space, and there doesn't seem to be anything active in here. Certainly, the level of dust and sort of rubble and debris makes it feel like this hasn't been inhabited for some time. You could imagine that some of the battlements or gates that were open that you crossed through here may not have been open for a long time previous to now. It's not clear when they were opened, whether it was a week or a month or a day ago, but they might have been this might have been locked off for 100 years. What does anyone want to do?
Peculiarly bad feeling about this.
I will do a. Going with my spycraft, I'll do an
Oh, wait,
observation
I got
of the area to check for hidden threats.
Do it.
All right.
Make a spycraft thread.
Make a spy.
And I'm going to do observation
'Kay.
just to see what there is to see. I can do 17. 22
22?
for observation. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to make you pull from the tower for these actions now as things
Okay.
are getting more...
Sorry, my pants keep
And
touching.
it seems completely deserted.
This
Like
one?
we're not hearing anything.
This one?
It doesn't smell
yeah.
like people have been through.
It smells like mildew and and age. It doesn't smell like anyone's been through here in a while. You're reasonably confident that if chanters had just been storming through here, you would be able to smell them. So yeah, it does feel like it's reasonably.
Can I use one of my action cards during this?
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
definitely.
great.
Yeah, traits can always apply if you can justify them.
Great. Okay, in that case, we're all in a group. I'm going to use Inspiring. When you use this card in a spread, you may burn one spark till each of your wingmates draw a card. I have a bad feeling about this room. It's far too quiet. I think we should all get our weapons ready.
So we all draw a card?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. It's darn nasty, Kate.
I am the weapon.
Literally. What is your?
How many cards can I put down?
3 for a skill spread.
So I need to take one of these back.
No,
then?
but the that doesn't count. So yeah.
Excellent.
All right, so
Okay.
you have to draw. You have to pull from the tower, but that's a very successful spread.
And also, I'm assuming you're going to address my 22. Okay.
That's
And what type of action was it?
Observation.
Observation. Okay.
Trying to see if there's anything dig
I'll
it
say that you remember to the page that you've seen a sketch of this in the book you're carrying.
Okay.
And by making like sort of connections between the world, the place you're in now, and the contents of that book, you're able to determine that the author of this book, who is writing about the chant, was here, and that this is where a lot of their sort of expertise came from. You also feel like this might have been where whoever had this book died. So, you don't find anyone alive or moving. There are a couple of locations, however, that you're able to identify. There's definitely like a sort of central meeting hall area, which you can find. You also find the sort of, beginning of this sort of staircases that head up into the top section there. You also find what appears to be sort of an archive or library, although much of it is just dust now. And you also find like a big like underground water wheel, which is currently like has like spokes in it so it can't move, which clearly like afforded mechanical power to the entire city.
Guys, I found a bunch of different rooms. Here's a quick sketch of all the rooms. I did a quick sketch in my little book. And by the way, I think there's something that could turn the power on here, but I don't know if we want to turn the power on here. But if you want to turn the power on here, I can show you where to do that.
Not yet, but by and by, that might be something we want to do.
Why?
I have to do a little more research. I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm gonna just try and find any sort of repository for knowledge I can, libraries, or just moving quickly house to house to see.
Well, that archive she has gives you some information.
Okay.
There are a couple of histories here, including histories of this town. Most of them are completely desiccated, but some of them are written in like a tablet form that is very similar to what you seem to be constructing. Yes, like that kind of tablet form. It's an iPad mini.
But I thought maybe it's like one of those slider games where you have to put the picture together.
Oh,
Yeah.
those
Oh,
are great.
I love those
That's what I
things.
was doing.
Yeah.
That.
Or those games that you play where you have to like park the cars and you have to move them
Yeah.
around on the grid. Those are terrifying. So you there are a couple of tablets similar to the one that you think that the chant shards are sort of coming together to represent that describe how this city was under siege, and this city was under siege by basically the Toratan people for a long time. Oh, let me double check that name. Sorry.
Now that my discard's full, do I shuffle it and
Yes.
put it? Okay.
Yes.
DM's reading books.
And draw back up to your limit.
Great.
And since there's no afflictions, slightly less to be terrified about.
Yeah, that was worrying for a sec.
Yes, it was a Yontalu attack that was like a Yontalu siege of this city, and this was late in the Great War between the Yontalu people and the Shadowvar. The Shadowvar were essentially driven into the caves during that time. They used to have a coastal space. Currently, the Yontalu, in some capacity, are the Alonans, by the way. But they...
That's the people who live underwater?
No.
Okay, sorry. Go on.
The Yontalu are the proto. They were the one of the major factors in the Great War that fought against the Empire, and the Empire essentially dispersed them. The Yontalu basically drove the Shadowvar into the caves, and then for whatever reason drove down to this cave city and held it to siege for some time. And then you do find a lot of sort of trappings here where it looks like this city was built during the height of Shadowvari necromantic magic, which makes you believe there's probably a sacrificial chamber somewhere here, and also probably a number of like arcane repositories here.
I want to find all of those things.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, you pulled for that already, so you're fine.
Yeah.
How much of that tablet do we have completed?
Like this much of it, like the lower third of it, basically at this point. And the one line that's there is the line that you hear repeated in the chorus of the chant. It's the last line of the chorus of the chant.
Okay. So yeah, there are some answers here. I don't know if they are the ultimate answers. I hesitate to split up the group, but I can probably move quicker on my own to find these things. you're welcome to come.
You want a
Especially-
tail?
Sure.
Okay.
He thinks he's quicker by himself.
Eggheads.
So yeah.
Which reminds everyone heal 1 health if you have any damage, and pretty much I believe it is twice your rank in sparks, so you're rank 5.
Mm-hmm.
Does it, how many 10 or less do you need, everybody? You get 12 back.
I need all of them.
3, 4, 5, 6.
I think I need like 4. 3.
Okay, here's your 12.
you.
Here's your 3.
7.
Here's your 4. Here is your 7.
Thank you.
Those of you watching at home who are interested in buying a Phoenix Dawn Command should be aware that Phoenix Dawn Command comes with like a buttload of counters that you use for these exact purposes. We just use these because they're more visible on camera. You don't need to. It's not required that you go out and buy a
Poker
poker chip set. Although I do think every house should have one.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
noise
yeah.
is great. Except if you're only like, it needs to be.
Yeah. All right. So, So what are you two gonna do while they're investigating?
I'm gonna camp out kind of at the edge of town and watch for anything that might be approaching.
Okay.
I'm gonna go play with power.
Okay. It's easy enough to turn it on. Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
All right, so you remove the chocks that are like keeping the big water wheel from turning, and the water coming from this, and it's like basically been forced into into like a waterfall in this room, and so like as soon as you remove the chocks, the waterfall pushes down on the wheel and it starts turning, and aspects of the city basically like come to life. There's no the lighting must have still been done like through traditional fire, but like you can like like wind turbines turn up and like everything sort of like the dust sort of shakes off it, like an elevator system, like there's like slow like a video game style, like where an elevator just goes up and down, like happens in different areas, and the city essentially comes to life, but also a number of doors that you're investigating, which seem miraculously closed, are now connected to like the gear mechanics. So like now you just basically like turn the handle and it opens Star Trek style. A familiar design that you remember on the ship that you found, the ancient ship. So you do that. You are watching out for things. You should make a spread, some sort of senses spread. You should pull from the tower.
Shadows or nature?
Yeah, either works.
Just as high as I can get, or
Yeah. I mean, you're going to draw back up anyway. I mean, spend only what you want to.
only what I want to. I mean, do I need something high at this point? 'Cause if we're gonna fight something, I want to have some good cards.
Yeah, doesn't hurt.
I can use 3 cards, right?
I'm going to go ahead and use this pause to remind everybody that you can donate to activate flares.
I'm gonna
Terrifying flares.
go with 13.
13? Okay. You're going to have to pull off the tower as well. And don't worry if you topple the tower, Mac. It is not your failure. It is the wing's failure.
Oh, that is actually it's pretty loose.
But yes, you can do positive and negative
Oh,
flares.
I can feel it scraping.
All of which will have effect on gameplay. Positive flares are combat positive. Negative flares are socially negative. Socially negative, like responding to comments on Facebook. All right, so
We're making comments on
Yes.
Facebook.
all right, so you all have sort of taken your actions. Oh, so you're out searching, and you find you definitely find these like sacrificial pits, which has like ancient like almost powdered skeletons in it, where they clearly used to use sacrifices to sort of empower their magic. There's like ritualistic knives and other things there that were used to make said sacrifices, all of which are basically like they're covered in dust that used to be blood essentially, and they're like various it 100 years ago or 1,000 years ago, this room might have had more in it, but right now it's just basically like the conical sleuth into which they threw the bodies after they used them for their magic. You also find a number of arcane repositories which have like ritual ingredients and whatnot. Some of them sealed in boxes that are still present. And also some like examples of Shadowvari necrotic magic, how it's done. There's some like early spell sheets that sort of like tablets, which are themselves spells. There's like a wall of reinforcement spell, which seems like it's still intact. It's on a tablet. You don't really know how to activate it, but it exists. There's a couple of other sort of pieces. You sort of tagging along behind him. Some of the areas that he's investigating are close to sort of that like stalagmite up on the top. It's like tight on the top. Do you want to investigate that?
Sure, I can use spycraft to do some serious eye studying of it.
Okay.
If that works.
Yes. Continue making that gesture at the. Yeah, it's nice.
Okay. We'll go with.
It's like that cat in that meme for the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Actually, I was thinking the overreacting prairie dog.
Oh yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, exactly. I also like the cat. The fuck is this? The fuck is that cat? The fuck is this? The fuck is that? That's how I feel. So okay, she's going to use brilliant deduction. I'm going to burn one spark to discard this card and ask the GM a question about the current situation. So what you said earlier about this thing that's hanging down from the middle, you said it was significant for some reason. What was the significance before I ask you my actual question? It's more of a refresher.
It's clearly like some sort of place of prominence, like it might have been the equivalent of City Hall or something. It's big and it overlooks the entire city, so from like the windows that are carved into it, so
Great.
It's from there you can see everything, including all the gates.
So I'm down on the ground looking up at it, right? Okay, so is there anyone in there looking back at us right now? Or anything observing us right now from this?
I'll be more specific than I think the card entitles you to. There's definitely a thing looking back at you.
Okay.
But that's a very broad term. But not a person, not a.
We're being observed, but not necessarily with eyes. Yeah.
Does she need to?
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
I saw everyone's eyebrows go up. There's a lot of eyebrow action.
All right, so
I'm just gonna be happy to not be the one to do it.
it's only got so far to live. Although I guess like in like tournament versions of this, you see that the tower has a maximum height, right? Where
Yeah.
like and it's basically just a bunch of like
Yeah.
cross pieces somehow
Yeah.
miraculously go all the way up.
Yeah,
So we might get there. You never know. Might get higher than the camera.
that'd be great.
All right. So what does anyone want to do now?
Ink really wants to take everything back with him to Pyre. I mean, I guess I could like wrap it up in my cloak or something.
Fucking hoarder.
You, I mean, like you have like a satchel or something. I mean, it won't survive a trip to the fires, but it will definitely. If you're walking it back to Pyre, you can take that.
Yeah, I want to just salvage as much as I can because I feel like, especially that wall of defense thing is really important. But nothing specific on the chant.
Nothing specific to the chant. At least not here.
Okay.
And that does not take any time, so you're good on the.
Okay. Well,
tower.
I want to rejoin Fade and see what's going on with her.
So she points out that there's something in the like that. That's what she does.
There's a thing in the thing, but I don't know what the thing is, but it's up there.
Let's get the others and let's go investigate.
All right. Do you want to? No, that still doesn't take an action because it's just talking. Do you two want to come together and investigate together?
Sure.
Okay. So, heading up the various sort of like staircases and walkways and planks, you're able to get up into the top section where the stalactite comes down from. There's a couple of other smaller ones here, but this one is large, like maybe 3-story building upside down, and it sort of comes, maybe it ends a few stories high from the base of the cave. And you can enter it through a doorway here, and then it's sort of like a building that goes down instead of up.
Okay.
And
This is charming.
it is clearly some sort of administrative office, or some sort of business office or something. It must have been like the center point of the government here. There are everything is still desolate and destroyed. But there are various sort of like chambers, like some sort of audience chamber, which is clearly maybe where like someone would petition the government. There are a number of records rooms that were possibly paper records that are completely destroyed now. There is, there are another little sort of antechambers, and something is happening in my chat. No, yes, just checking it out. All right, I thought someone was gonna flare you guys as soon as you got together.
All the negative ones.
Yes, all negative
All
flare.
at the same time.
So,
Good. That could be
What
fun.
is Fate's negative flare?
Become completely invisible.
yes.
like-
Oh.
Yeah, that's
That
terrifying.
All right, so, but there's like a sort of, if you imagine this in sort of the ancient context, like this sort of has the same interior architecture as the hidden temple. Go 3 doors. No, so there's
I was thinking the same thing.
but there's like a room of almost like offices, if you will, and this is the lowest part of the stalagmite. And they all have sort of different decorations on them. And one of them you recognize from the research you just did as being like the display of of necromantic magic. So this you can make a guess that this
The
is sort of
Ministry
like,
of Magic.
yeah, or like the High Vizier or something.
Sure.
Do you want to go into this room?
I do.
Okay.
Everyone, be prepared for
Inevitable?
anything. Perhaps the inevitable.
So you
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 say
know,
that like we aren't already thinking that.
you flip the switch and the door sort of slides into itself, all Star Trek style. And this is clearly like it's an office basically, but it also has like a minor ritual space and whatnot. And
For those lunchtime, off-hour sacrifices.
Oh wait, we need to reorder office supplies. Hold on. There you go.
Where's the intern?
Yeah.
ow! Oh wait, I'm dead. In this room is a corpse, like a skeleton that's basically like it's wearing like just the smallest like fabric left on the body. It's entirely sort of like dusty and desiccated, and floating in the center of that table is like the top maybe third of the tablet that is the chant tablet. And it's just sort of like rotating slowly in this room. And now that you've sort of gazed upon it, you can feel the sort of malignant presence that's somehow attached to it. And it was observing you. You can tell that the spell itself has sentience now. And it is alive and aware. And that's when it becomes entirely clear that if it knows you're here, it's probably dragging every chant mob it can back down those tunnels to you.
Swell.
Inevitable, right? So you're saying I have the bottom third and the top third. Mm-hmm. It's the middle that's missing.
I guess we may as well
fucking
grab
find that
this.
psychometry.
Yeah, where the fuck
Christ.
is psychometry when I need it? Well, I mean,
Does it feel like if one of us makes contact with it, it's gonna be bad times?
It's definitely going to be something. I mean, any artifact with this much magical energy is going to have an effect on
without
whoever.
even really thinking about it, he just goes up and does it.
All right.
Sounds about right.
As you grab it, like you're sort of flooded with visions of like terrible caricatures almost of like the Toratani people like beating on the walls, and you can see the last sort of the last head of the necrotic order or necromantic order here in the city, like basically like in tears. His family's dead. Their people were going to be dead, and like penning the chant onto the tablet and sort of using necromantic energy to initiate it and essentially turning the city itself into chanters, even before the enemy broke in. And then you sort of flash forward to the enemy breaking in the wall, coming in the door, and sort of their army moving in, and then coming back against them are a wave of chanters and then they don't know what to do with them. They're all getting infected. They start attacking each other, and you can sort of feel the chant going up the lines of the military lines and supply lines, and basically like turning the tide of the war, but at the sacrifice of their last great city. And it feels awful. Take a wound. This is essentially like it dampens your fire a bit, and but it physically and the ability to animate your body that the sparks give you sort of fails a touch. But then the chant shard ceases to sort of be self-ambulatory and just drops into your hands, or the chant tablet, and you can feel the two pieces would love to connect if they had the interspacing pieces.
Well, I'm taking it.
All right. Nothing is here yet.
Okay. Now we have further to go to the source, right?
This is the source.
This is the source. But there has to be more. Where's the other piece? It's with the Shadowvar. My guess is it's with the rest of the Shadowvar people.
All I know is there's going to be a lot coming very soon.
Well, then we should move as quickly as we can. Am I missing anything here? Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah. Skedaddle.
All right, everyone make a gray spread to move fast.
Superhuman reflexes.
Yeah, that'll definitely trump. You are moving fast.
Untouchable?
No, but I'll definitely make that a 5 for the spread.
Well, it is a 5 anyway.
Okay, well then in that case, no. It just works as well as it works.
I can do 15.
All right, 15's good.
Okay.
I'm still hidden, right?
Yeah,
Well, but still.
yeah. Still gotta move fast.
Oh, that's okay.
Fade's you guys run. They won't even see me.
Yeah, I'm
Stands there as a tide of chanters move around. They're well, you guys are fucked.
Because I can
Oh,
also,
you guys are
I can
so
also
cute.
blip over to you if I need. I've got is this a defense?
No, it's just a regular. It's a skill spread.
Just 8 then, I think. Just 2.
All right. You don't have a third.
I think I do have a third, but I'll just use it to make myself invisible. I'm already invisible. You can't even smell me anymore.
And I always enjoy the way Fade smells. Vaguely of cinnamon and
13 or 15?
money.
15.
Can I do 13
Like
and
paper money.
still
I
be
don't know.
okay?
Never
Or
mind.
do I
Yeah,
do
you'll be fine.
15? All right.
What was your total?
And 8 and then 9, and I don't think I add anything to that, do I?
It's a skill spread. I mean, you could suggest that this was spycraft or something to move fast. I'd take that. So it'd be 5 more.
Deception? I could use it as deception to move fast. Okay, so
Yeah, if it's
15,
deception,
14.
then I have 20. Actually.
Okay.
Great.
All right.
14
So
then.
so basically it's around 15 is where your average is. So you're moving pretty fast, as a clip. Are you heading towards where you read that the Shadowvari people were?
Makes sense, right?
What else can we do? We're already come this far.
Exactly.
All right. You can there's a hot rush of air as it feels like bodies clogging the tunnels are heading in every direction, but you head off towards the path. Someone has to pull from the tower for that escape. All right. And you're heading off. It's probably several days from where you are now to where the Shadowvar are.
So, can we get some
Shadowvar.
wounds back?
Well, do you want to go a whole day just hard march?
No, I mean, we're going.
Yeah, we're not
moving as
slowing
quick as
down.
we can. If we don't have to stop, we're not stopping.
Hucking it.
What was that?
Hucking it.
Hucking it, yeah.
All right. So everyone can remove a wound, and if there's any sparks that need to be recouped, there's some sparks. I don't know who needs sparks, but go ahead and recoup those sparks. But then you got to pull from the tower for that day.
Who wants to do it? Oh,
Yeah.
Chan seems to have. I mean, you might just knock it down right here, but Chan seems to have some pretty a gift for Jenga.
He's dialed in a way that I am not.
that was a good one. I was eyeballing that one earlier.
I don't even understand how Chan is capable of seeing how loose bricks are in that way. All right, and then, okay, so one more day's travel.
Yeah.
All right, so what's one more wound back each? You already have all your sparks, and that's one more pull from the tower.
Try and go as low as possible. Nice. The middle. Yeah.
Okay, so now you have the big decision. You're coming up on what would, or probably going to end up being the Shadowvar battlements, if you will, like wherever their little current bivouac against the chant is. But you're also trailing the chant behind you. So you're only going to have a few hours once you reach the Shadowvar camp to do anything before basically the chant is at their walls. What is your choice?
It's more important that we get the tablet. Maybe a few of us should stay and try and stem off the tide and buy some more time.
I agree. I feel like you and Eerie out here, let's not even engage the Shadowvar unless we absolutely have to. Fade and I can sneak in and we can try and find the tablet. It's not my
I mean,
preferred
it's
option,
also
Varia.
Erie's call, too, because if you hadn't noticed, he's faster than the rest of us.
Eerie?
Putting this tablet together isn't just going to make a huge chanter mob in the middle of the Shadowvar, is it?
I don't know, Eerie. I don't know. Well, that's my plan, so whatevs.
All right.
What does the
well,
party think?
I'm going to make a stand at the edge and try and buy some time.
Okay. Fade, will you help me?
Yes.
You don't seem sure.
I'm not so sure. But I will help you.
All right.
All right. The Shadowvari battlements are the standard sort of two-tier fortifications that you're used to seeing the Imperials set up, where there's a sort of wall, if you will, that is designed to keep the chanters out. But then there's a distance back where there's another wall behind which are the protectors of the sort of city
Trying to
that
get
are
psychometry.
far enough back that they aren't in danger of like hearing the chant in the wind, if you will. And the Shadowvar's sort of innovation to this is they have drummers, like, which are going day and night. So as you approach, you can just hear like, you know, eventually deafening sound of drums as you're heading towards it. Being not animated mobs of essentially, you know, fast zombies, it's easy for you to sort of get through these battlements because there's little places where anyone who's really thinking can just sort of like climb through the right hole. But chanters just don't work that way. And even if they did, they work as a big group. So you're able to sort of head in. Meanwhile, you know, that it's like when you're waiting. I don't know how many of you watching today like live in a city with a subway in it. It's like when you're waiting for the subway and you have that like that rush of wind comes in ahead of you, which is always nice in the subway because it's super hot there. But here it's really terrifying.
The scariest subway ever.
Yeah, and you can sort of occasionally, when the sound is right, especially you can sort of hear like little pieces of the chant as it sort of like washes up over you. So. Take from the tower, and then we are going to move on to the next step.
I did the last one.
Yes, it's my turn. Great. This sucks, guys.
This one might have a gap, I'm not sure.
I'd say I'm not usually this jumpy, but I'm always this jumpy.
I like this as a force to create dramatic tension. I will say it does help get your heartbeat moving.
Well, especially
Uh-huh.
right there. Look at that shit.
Yeah, no jostling of the table.
Yeah, I've actually removed myself
Yeah.
from the table at this point.
Good idea.
Yeah, they're really tightly packed at the top for some reason.
All right, so you're heading. You're standing there. The chant is almost upon you. Do you want to take any precautions before they get there? Like set up anything?
probably look around for a weapon rack, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
the
like,
weapons racks.
Yeah.
a weapon rack.
Okay, so
obviously.
go ahead and each one of you can find 2 environmental objects and drag them over to where you're going to make your stand. So there you go. Chad, you can make 2 environmental objects you might find in a cave. Meanwhile, we're going to do a little bit more work with the 2 of you before we dive into this combat. So you're both hidden, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
All right, so you get in through the second layer of battlements. There are soldiers here and drummers, big giant sort of like, kettle drums or whatever they are, like the really, like the boom, 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 boom. And then behind there is another city-like settlement, but this one is extremely overpopulated. It is, all the Shadowvari from all over have sort of placed themselves here. There isn't this is a modern settlement that sort of post the banning of magic, so there are no, none of the magic iconography you remember from the ancient cities here, nor is there anything expressly like sort of sacrificial in design.
Okay.
What do you want to look for?
I absolutely have to 10-1.
Go
I'm
ahead.
so sorry. I've been trying to...
Well, because we're going to probably run this all the way up to the end of the show, too. We'll do some plugs while you're gone so we can get it done. So, hey, Kate, what things should people look at? Or plugs and suggestions, so both stuff by you and stuff you like.
That's lovely. By me, please follow my Instagram, Kate in Real Life. I post life stuff and my vlog stuff and menu photography, which is good fun. You can find my website through that as well. And something else to check out that isn't me. What have I seen? Why don't you go see Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them? It's really fun. I really enjoyed it very much. I went to see it with my dad and my boyfriend on Thanksgiving, and it was a very enjoyable movie. So if you're looking for one to go see, it's a good one to go see. That's it.
Chan?
Got a couple podcasts. Knowing is half the podcast, where we do a recap of the old 80s G.I. Joe cartoon. Science Jerks, where we talk about science news with guest comedians. If you should be watching Gilmore Girls. I don't know why you're not if you're not, but it's
I've
there.
actually never seen that show.
I
ever.
haven't either. My mum used to watch it.
It's fantastic.
That's all I've ever heard. I've heard everyone
I
loves
don't.
it.
Yeah, I've heard it's good, but I've heard literally nothing else about it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
have
that's
no
all you
idea
need.
what it's about or anything. I just know people love it.
Yeah.
2 women who speak fast who have a show. I don't know. It's
Yes, I think you like it. It's reminiscent of the old, what's his name? The director from the 40s. Starts with a P.
That's like a lot.
Nope. Oh well. Enjoy.
I'm also going to 10-1 before we get into
Girl Genius. It's a web comic that they eventually printed in trade paperbacks, but you can read the entire thing for free online. Girlgenius.net, I want to say. Phil Folio
relationship
was
goals.
one of my favorite cartoonists from back in the day. He used to do a strip for Dragon magazine, and then he did a bunch of magic cards. He did Myth Adventures. He illustrated the graphic novel version of that, the old Robert Asprin series. And
Who's this?
fantastic. Phil Folio.
Yeah. I like that guy.
Gosh, for Thanksgiving we did we spent some time with some of the Saving Throw folks for Thanksgiving, which was really lovely. And part of what we did was we watched the Cornetto trilogy and did drinking games that basically just try and murder you as you go along, because there's a lot of it was crazy. The rules were out of
Did
control.
you drink every time they drank in World's End?
No, we didn't want that much liver damage, and it was the last one in the series. But for those who aren't familiar with that name, the Cornetto trilogy is the trilogy that Edgar Wright did with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, which is Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End. And it's amazing how good those movies are and still are after seeing them so many times. They're so well constructed. There's so much trickled out beforehand and so much foreshadowing that you can't appreciate it until you go back and watch them at least a second or third time. You're like, oh shit, they mentioned that. Oh, there's that. Oh, there's that. It's still so fucking impressive. And I don't know, we kind of consider it sort of the spiritual fourth film. I really like Paul.
I was going to say it's not, but it is.
There's a sensibility about it that seems reminiscent of that without quite all the fast cuts. Like we drank every time there was a montage. for Shaun of the Dead, every time somebody was eaten by a zombie, they said slice fried gold. The Dracula arcade music, because that's a couple of those things are throughout all of them. I'm trying to think what else. There was other steps, but I was drinking, so I don't remember.
Fair enough.
Nice.
I was thinking of Space as season
I love Space.
Shaun of the Dead as season 3 of Space.
Toots.
That was good. You want to plug
What's your
anything?
plugs and recs?
I just watched a Netflix original film the other day called I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House, which is one of the most gorgeous ghost stories I've ever seen.
Ooh, I want to go to
It's
there.
really deliberate, which is a nice way of saying it's really slow. And I can see how that would be off-putting for some, and the ending is a little open to interpretation, but it's genuinely creepy, and it's got a great soundtrack, and the cast is really sparse. It's almost all women. Bob Balaban is in it for a couple minutes. I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House.
Have you seen The House at the End of Time, which is also on
No.
Netflix? And it's another language. I want to say, like Brazil, Venezuela, somewhere more South America-ish. Really fantastic. Like it's kind of a ghost story. It's kind of not, and it was surprising how good it was. It was one of those just odd finds on Netflix that turned out to be absolutely spectacular.
Awesome, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, really, really good.
I would advise you to watch it in a dark room, because there's a lot of very dark shots that when I was watching it in the middle of the afternoon, I'm sure I lost something of.
Yeah.
But especially the way they handle this one sort of encounter, it's really just like, oh.
I love stuff like that, though.
Yeah.
There aren't enough of those atmospheric,
Yeah.
ghost movies. Like,
Yeah, because there's like one kind of moment of
yeah,
like gore, but even that, it's like,
yeah.
yeah.
And now I want to go home and watch The Changeling again too. 'Cause that's another
Original
really
Changeling?
yeah, because it's such a good slow burn,
It's the scariest
beautiful
movie.
horror movie.
For no reason, that movie is scary.
Is
Like,
that
That fall.
George C. Scott?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
yeah, George C. Scott, like basically grrr, around a house, like grumping around a house, being haunted by a little boy. I was so petrified when I watched that.
See, I never found it particularly like scary, but I was just I was riveted by it. Oh, speaking of riveted, so weird thing that I finally watched for the first time last night. I saw Citizen Kane for the first time because it was just one of those movies that I never sat and watched. You have those films that people talk about. Holy shit! It's still a fucking amazing movie. It's beautiful. It is like a perfect movie. It's really I knew that I was in for something special, but I didn't expect it to be as amazing as it was and to feel so modern for when it was made too.
Nice.
It was really before its time.
I haven't seen it yet. I'll have to watch.
It's fantastic.
One of those movies.
All right, so I'll plug myself briefly, and then my show on Geek and Sundry. Is it off? It's on. Yeah, my show on Geek and Sundry, Dick and Johnson, is on Mondays from 5 to 6. We have another great episode coming up this Monday with Erica Ishii as a guest. Dick and Johnson go to Hogwarts. And then in a couple of weeks on the 12th, that's December 12th, it's the Dick and Johnson Christmas special. That starts at 4. Matt Mercer, DM to the Stars, will be our guest on that episode. And it will have a lot of other fantastic guests and also a Christmas theme. And it is Dick and Johnson, two good old boys who saved the planet. As played by Hector and Keller. Definitely worth your time. Hashtag meet space. All right, so let's get started. So this is how this is going to go. There is an essentially infinite number of chanters coming up this hallway. Not really infinite, but more than you can take out in any given amount of time. And the...
Are they over there? Yeah. How many are there?
Lots.
So you guys can hold the line as long as you want to. If you intend to fight until you are ranked up, then you can. Or you can fall back after a certain point. It's up to you. Meanwhile, in town, what are you going to do?
I mean, is there any way I can use like the halves of the tablet that I have to kind of try and point me in a direction?
Sure.
Okay.
Um,
How are we going to do that?
well, geez, psychometry would really help.
Psychometry would really help. There are 2 redraws, but I don't want to...
You can make a let me see.
Can I help you? Can I?
You can make a combined lore spread to try and essentially like operate the tablet's magic. That's
Okay.
essentially your magic stat.
Can I help you first? Can I do something for you?
Sure.
Would you like me to spend 3 sparks for you to redraw?
Sure.
All right, let's do it. I'm
All
spending
right, so
3
you can
sparks.
redraw your entire hand, right? That's how it goes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yep, whole thing.
This is gonna go down.
There you are, motherfucker.
Okay.
Is running out.
Here, have a couple of my sparks, too. So
All right.
tentatively, I take out both halves of the chant shard, and I kind of look at you and nod, and I kind of sandwich them together, and I just concentrate very, very hard.
All right.
Where its missing brethren is.
You essentially get like a dowsing rod out of this experience where you can sort of find the other piece. You're also getting sort of, connecting with your psychometric connection to the chant is never a healthy one.
Right.
Actually, I'm going to afflict you for that. It sort of sneaks into you. But you also, you get the impression that it's really actively trying everything it can to prevent you from doing what it's doing. It wants to live, to quote Superman 2 or 3. And
I want more life, fucker.
so it's so you head off. You're both still hidden, and you actually come upon like an area of town that is clearly some sort of meeting space where some people who look very important, you don't necessarily know who they are having a conversation with some people wearing familiar robes that you've recognized from the chant cultists. Draw from the tower, and then we'll go back. We'll be back to you in just a second.
Well, obviously I can't do that one.
Yeah.
Sorry. Got a deadly game of cat and mouse we got going on here.
Yeah, this is sort of the end of the tower here.
I mean, this is kind of the only one.
Which
I
one?
tried that one earlier.
That's the loosest. It's
Wait, which one? Point it again.
1, 2, 3, 4. This one right here in the middle.
Yeah, that one's rough.
Oh.
It doesn't help that it's kind of
Oh,
rough
God.
hewn.
There's a lot moving.
You got this.
Easy. Oh my gosh!
Yes.
Drop it so carefully. Oh.
All right.
Oh my gosh, that was too much.
All right. So you're overhearing this conversation. Meanwhile, what are you guys doing? So you've got a weapons rack, animal traps, lamp oil barrel, a cart full of ball bearings. All of these things you found out there. Of course you did. Also, there's a statue of Burgermeister Meisterburger. Thanks, chat.
I was wondering what that was
yeah.
supposed to stand for.
An abacus.
Oh, I used one of those ones.
A
Yeah,
waterfall.
not for math.
Which I guess was here to begin with. It didn't wander over. And a beer.
Guys.
There's essentially the Johnny Appleseed of beer that is like wandering around caves and leaving single beers.
Well, see, the way I see it, thirsty traveler is gonna need a beer.
When the producer says "Holy fuck,"
Oh, I pulled off the sides of it, and then I used the tines inside
okay.
to
So
stab
incidentally,
through something.
have you DM'd since this thing's been here and actively? Okay,
It was good times.
it looks like the fucking center of what is it? Carousel from Logan's Run.
Yeah.
Every time I look up, it's just like this, like
Yeah. It's so pretty. I like it a lot.
And then your gem starts flashing.
All right, everyone gets a redraw and their positive flair from Nightsteed.
Thank you, Nightsteed.
Way to go, Nightsteed. There we go. There's one for you. There's one for you. Feel free to use these redraws to avoid drawing from the tower.
Yeah.
And you can notch those. Positive flares until combat or whatever you want to use them. If you can find a way to use them. Of course, it doesn't hurt to have your psychic ability right now, Kate. in combat or otherwise. All right, so what are you doing sort of at the battlements, if you will?
I'm actually gonna lay out some of the animal traps or the big old like bear steel traps and kind of lay them out so hopefully we can get a few of them in that
Nice.
and then do other awful things after there's people caught in them.
All right. And what do you want to do, Shannon?
I'm gonna try and suspend that lamp oil barrel, kind of up near the wherever this entranceway to this area is, and I'm just gonna have that cart sort of also nearby.
Okay. So I'm going to cross half of this lamp oil barrel off here. You can draw a card from that now. And then I'm going to do that as well. So I will tell you what you're going to get from those things. When you use the animal traps again, Mac, you will expose them. And when you use the lamp oil barrel again, you will give them the burning condition. But you also get the card draw now. And then, when you want to do it. And you have to pull from the tower or give me a redraw. Chan, of course, unwilling to consider redraws with his Jenga adjacent magic.
Really? That would just be anarchy.
Was it the Buffyverse that created the everything foo? Like, was that? Did it exist before that?
This is shit.
That's not.
That's what I was looking at, but it's in there pretty solid, huh? They're like really in there now.
I had
That is so scary.
I had
don't like
no
that
idea
method.
how good you were at this when I proposed this for the game. You don't have to do it twice. Just
okay,
one
just
between
one?
two of you.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
God.
Well, one per side of the
Woo!
table.
All right, never mind. Good, I'm not touching that shit.
For those of you who ask repeatedly in chat with the Tower Falls, something terrible. The big bad thing will happen when the Tower falls. I'm not going to lean on the table. All right, so you over here, the conversation is between these cultists are, like, you have to understand, like, it might be dangerous, but we can control it. Like, I've been told, I have been shown that we can use this magic to save our people. All we need to do is support it, not fight it. And the other people are saying, the non-cultists are saying, like, that's insane. Like, we've seen what this can do. There are more Shadowvari out there chanting than there are other people. This isn't safe to use. I don't care who you think is telling you that there's some way around this magic, but at the end of the day, we can't control this. And then the cultists are saying, we've already shown that we can do this. Every time we sacrifice others to its cause, it relinquishes its attacks on us. Just let us go back to the surface and infect more. The chant has told us it will fight its way. It will relinquish its attacks. And they're saying, no, we'd rather die here than have that on our hands. We already made this sin once 1,000 years ago. We're not doing it again. It's only by sheer prominence that no one has figured out that we caused it to begin with. And now that the dread has brought it back, we have no idea what's happened. And then blah, blah, blah. The argument continues.
No, I like hearing Sax have an argument with himself.
That's what's going on in my head all the time anyway. And it's all about the chant, too, weirdly. So what do you two want to do?
Well, I mean, we're supposedly at the location where the other part of the tablet is, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want to just appear out of nowhere and be like, oh, hello. I believe you have something I'm looking for.
So I'm hidden right now. I have my positive flare right now, which means I can get in their minds. So I'm just going to have a little peer into their minds and see if any of them are picturing where this other part of the tablet is. Because often when people are trying not to tell where something is and keep it secret, they're thinking of it very hard.
That's very good logic.
Where's the safe in the room?
Don't think of elephants. You realize that these cultists have essentially like shardified the remainder of the tablet, which is what they've had access to for a while, and at least most of it is here with them. Like they have it with them. They carry them with them, sort of as like a final solution if they ever get in trouble. There's probably most of the tablet here, like spread out between their various pouches, and they're also, you can detect the sort of surface thoughts of this one, the main speaker, and he has the same concerns that the other one that Mac met do, which is that basically he's been tasked to do this by this mysterious force. And whatever awaits him if he fails at this task is worse than the chant and is worse than whatever he's going to get by like defaming himself in front of his people. So he's getting progressively more desperate when it comes to what's going on here.
How high is your pickpocket skill?
I was thinking about cutting some purses. Yeah.
Spycraft, yeah.
So what do you two want to... I'll give you a little more action before you have to draw from the tower or give me a thing. Jesus, you can't knock the camera. People are going to think that the Jenga tower is going to fall.
Would you say Spycraft would allow us to sort of get to their satchels, etc.?
Yeah, you can make a Spycraft spread. There's a lot of it, and you don't necessarily know where it is on them, but like you can basically like take, anything loose that you can get your hands on.
So when I was reading their minds, I felt like a lot of them were keeping them in their pouches that are attached to their belts. So I'm going to see if I can quietly cut a couple of those pouches off and pocket them.
All right.
For Spycraft, should I be doing intellect cards or grace?
A skill spread is intellect.
But you
And
can use
right,
one
but I
grace
can
card
use-
as intellect.
Excellent.
Actually, I would say that this is both because you need to invoke grace to do this, and you can always use intellect in your Spycraft spread, so either works. Just the best three you got.
So, okay. Sorry, this is not a skill spread, is it?
It is, yes.
It is, okay, good. I'm going to use my mind trick. When you use this card in a skill spread, it has a value of 5. You may discard this card to burn 1 spark on your turn to make a target exposed or make yourself hidden. Can I use this card and burn 1 spark to identify which of these cultists has a piece of the tablet in his satchel pocket thing?
They all do, and they'll have some of it, but
Okay.
you can basically use this to like sort of make them, especially because your flare is active.
Distract
You can use it to like make them sort of like
Great.
like turn
Derp off for a
hip to
second.
you, and yeah. So
Okay.
go ahead and burn your spark. I'll take that.
Right, so I'll be
And-
discarding that to use that, and then I'm also going to use, I have 2 intellect cards there, a 5 and a 3, and I have 1 grace that I will also.
And I can actually even add 3 to that with seen this before.
All right.
Excellent.
So they basically all like sort of getting weird, thrusting out their hips stances for no, and they don't know why, and
Bend and snap.
yeah, and they concentrate
Nice.
in different directions.
Excellent.
And you manage to like sort of move through and like grab a bunch of pouches off them, and you get a significant amount and sort of like run back to where you were sort of hiding, and you were hidden the whole time because magic.
Because magic.
Tower or redraw token.
Redraw token.
All right. That is a smart move. Okay, back out here. The first waves of them are going to be on you this turn. So do you want to ride out to meet them? You can make attacks now, but you're sort of like running into their wave. Or do you want to do something sort of like to sit and wait?
I'm going to stand firm and I'm going to drink that beer.
Okay. Draw a
Great.
card from drinking the beer. All right. And Chan, what do you want to do?
I'm just gonna meet him. I'm gonna knock
Hello.
over the cart full of. It's eerie. Okay.
Welcome
And knock
to
over the,
my house. You'll take it.
Cart full of ball bearings. So hopefully, as they're running in, they'll
Yeah.
not have very good footing, and then just gonna have at it.
Go ahead and make an attack spread. And if the torch is around somewhere, he should have it.
Yeah.
that is the one disadvantage of doing this is that like now the middle of the table feels like a good place to like cause a terrible problem.
Okay, so I'm gonna make 1, 2, 3, 6 strength attacks, 2 more 7 strength attacks. Yeah.
All right, so area like slamming them and like cutting off heads or like knocking them back or like wrapping his chain around people, and various amounts of chanters get scattered to the wind and thrown down, and the other ones sort of encounter the ball bearings, and we're going to go ahead and say they're stunned, so they're not going to act for another turn.
And I have a terrifying as well. So.
Oh, okay. We'll stun them twice. So things are going really well there. They're not quite at you, Mac, but you could definitely like make a ranged attack into them if you wanted to, or you're going to wait until they're right on top of you.
I think I want to hold on to Sparks with everything going on here because this could last a while.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait till they come up and.
All right. So tower or redraw token from your side of the table.
Do the thing. Do it. I want to see
Bad
this
feeling. I
happen.
have such a bad feeling.
The inevitable.
I mean, yeah, eventually it has to fall.
But not yet. It doesn't have to be now.
So beautiful.
You're
that?
beautiful.
Just get ready for a
Four
loud.
singles at the bottom. I mean,
Get ready to
that's
type
just-
exclamation point loud if this goes down. We'll spare the chat.
I'm ready to just watch the world burn. I'm good.
I'm definitely that guy.
Still hidden, right? Don't do it fast. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
That's the way to do it, though. When it gets down that far, sometimes you have to.
I hope this translates on camera as magically dangerous as it seems.
Very nice. Well, you kind of have to because they're so rough that the friction on them, if you go slow, they're getting to a point where you kind of can't.
All
So
right.
you're saying we should spit on them before we pull them out?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm saying.
All right. So we're gonna come back to you guys on their attack. So what are you doing in time in the city?
Oh, these are pouches.
Yeah, I'm gonna get as many of the charges together and just try and.
They're not activated, so they all lock together once you like bring them towards the tablet, and
Okay.
they're part of the inert bottom part of the tablet that you have.
Okay. Well, now we don't know what to do.
I know. You're the
Um,
smart one.
I mean, would it behoove me to try and do another sort of spycraft thing to see if there's anything else on them?
I mean, you can take any amount of things you want from them, until they eventually catch you. But you don't necessarily know where you're going to find this stuff. I mean, you could also, appear and try and talk sense into people, or you could full on attack these cultists and try and take them down before they act. Or knowing that this is going to be an issue, you could try and do something else to sort of like stem the tide of what might be a potential internal chant outbreak.
I would like to do the third thing. I'm just not feeling clever enough to figure out what that is.
You can talk to your party. I mean, like they might have suggestions for you.
Thoughts? I mean, I'm inclined at this point to kind of pop out and be like, hey, yo, no, that's not it. That's not the solution here. Also, hey, by the way, we've got all of the chant mobs coming down on you guys. So what can we do?
I mean, if you can get all of the shards from them, then
Nope. I don't know what that is, Farquaad. So I don't know how to. I don't know how to incentivize that one. One more redraw from Nightsteed. So if you can explain, Farquaad, what it is that you have.
Whew.
Thank you.
Thank you.
if you need someone disappeared, maybe able to help.
Oh yeah, you have your teleport going on.
Well, true, you can be wherever you need to be.
My inclination is to appear and confront them.
Go with your gut, man.
All right. So yeah, kind of puts his hand on your shoulder.
He goes, wait, go outside the door and knock. Don't
Okay.
surprise them.
Okay, sure. Knock, knock, knock.
Wow.
Avon calling.
Yeah.
Candygram.
Not now.
Just a harmless dolphin, ma'am.
All right, so you you knock on the door, and like there's you can hear shuffling in the space, and then
I look like a Norman Rockwell painting. Real sincere.
For the pipe.
Yeah.
they come and greet you, and the it's clear you're a phoenix, obviously, and the cultists are clearly on their guard when they see you. But everyone sort of meets you congenially. What do you want to say?
Time is of the essence. We've been investigating the chant and the depth and breadth of its effect, especially on Shadowbar Society, and we've been tasked by Dawn Command to end this once and for all. I'm keenly aware of the cultists' agenda, but I can assure you that whatever awaits you, as bad as you think it is, it cannot possibly be worse than what will happen to all of us if this is not contained. I am here to end the chant. I would appreciate your help.
Okay. So the townsfolk don't need any convincing. They're definitely on your side. They've been trying to find a good solution to this as it is. And they've sort of already started looking at the cultists who are like, some of them are, clearly like feeling for their satchels and not finding them. But the cultists definitely have their back up against the wall here because they feel like whatever has sent them on this task is going to do something to them, unspeakable things to them if they don't achieve this goal.
Who sent you?
Okay. Hold on. I'm going to do a brief double checking of a name here. And then we will tell you the answer.
Is that picture? Is that the same camera I have? I think it's the same camera I have.
With the EOS?
Is it a T4 or T6?
The Canon?
T5?
Something.
I think it's a 5D.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like a Rebel. It's T4.
T1000.
Yeah. T1 million.
That's why that song keeps playing in my head.
Okay, let's see here.
Yeah, it's the camera that melts to liquid metal and then goes back into camera
Yeah.
form.
And also Robert Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can never trust a man with two first names.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I was right about that name. It's a weird name. I'm glad I double checked. All right. He sort of says to you, the Hectarch. The Hectarch has reached out to us, and we can't fight it. It's too strong. It says if we do this, it will protect us. You don't have the power to face it. If Dawn Command could have, they would have stopped it the first time.
I don't believe that to be true.
Say more?
Because I'm the good guy. No. Tell me everything you know. I am confident that we can find a solution to this, but we have to act quickly.
All right, pull from the tower, or give me a redraw. All right, there we go. Meanwhile, outside, that's a defensive 7 for both of you, and then you can make an attack spread each back. Or well, you can make your full attack
I
spread.
got Shadow Wolf. I can do 6.
All right, that's nothing. So you're good. Oh, wait, no, it is 1 wound.
Okay.
They're
Can I
times 2.
use it to flip Grimclaw?
Yes, you can.
I got 7.
Okay, you're fine. Go ahead and make attacks.
And also 7 back.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll take another one of them off. I mean, again, there's too many of them to count, so it's sort of immaterial. All right, Mac, what do you got?
Really just holding the line at this point.
That's the point. Buying them time to have this conversation in there.
Yep. I'm going to save some of these bigger cards for a few minutes from now, hopefully. Lay those down, so that's 15, and then another 4. It's 19. Oh, I need to draw one for the wound. Hold that for later. 19.
Okay. You
Biggest spread.
you knock a huge swath of them out. Do you want to make that attack with the the animal traps involved in that attack? So go ahead and draw another card from that,
Okay.
and they'll be exposed.
Oh yeah, did some of them get into the animal trap?
Yeah, they all got. They're like around you, so they're getting like, and that you're attacking them while they're
Okay.
exposed. So you're cutting down huge swaths of them with your claws,
Okay.
getting blood on your fur. You know,
The usual.
an average day.
Okay.
What about you, Eerie? I see you've set out your normal thousands of options.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strength attacks, 1 7 strength attack. So yeah.
So 5 times 7, or 5 attacks that are successful.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total. Yeah.
6. All right. So you take out another huge swath of them, but they're still pouring out onto you inside. So what are you saying to sort of calm their nerves? By the way, the arrival of the chant waves has definitely been seen by the Chatavari, and they're like the message is getting sent back. So that the Shadavar leaders that were in this room like turn to you and say like, the chant is outside the door now. If you have anything to do here, Phoenix, do it, because things seem like they're entirely lost. Oh, sorry, polar token.
Hold on, I'm of course going to let this play out.
What do you think? Maybe. We built it too solid on top, guys.
He doesn't even seem like he's touching you. He's just getting its aura near his fingers.
Speak to me.
Yep.
Oh my God! Come on!
Hell yeah!
No, that was
Holy
good.
shit.
It is my theory that if we can assemble the original tablet that has the chant on it, we can somehow render it inert. But I need to know any sort of protective wards that you have. How do you survive dealing with this being?
The Hector comes to us. We have no control over it. It's ancient and powerful, and it is the source behind all these problems. It's igniting these issues.
Where is it?
It's everywhere. It was sealed away back before the world was reborn, and then it was woken up. One of you did it. One of you woke it up, and as a result, it's slowly gaining power, and this is just one way it's doing it. It's caused this war, and it will destroy our people, or worse. Who knows what access it has. You will come back when you die. We have to go to something after this, and for all I know, it has power there too.
There's a darkness beyond life that I am not sure what holds. I don't know. I feel like I made my argument pretty clearly.
All right. Make a grace spread to be convincing. You can assist.
All right. I'm using
yes.
astonishing luck, so there's 4 right there.
Because we have that, don't we? We can lie. What was it called? With uncanny conviction. So you can say whatever you want. So you want one of my grace cards?
Sure.
It's
Oh, I
basically a
don't have
collective
anything high.
spread towards a secret goal of mine, so you can both put in 3 cards.
I can. What can I put any intellect in or just grace?
You can use one intellect as. Oh no, it's the other way around. No, it's a grace card. You're
You can have both of my grace cards.
Okay, so that's 8 for me. There's 14, and I've got 2 traits that don't have anything, but I can throw them in for.
okay.
So what is that? That's 15.
15.
Yeah. Which one's yours?
These two.
Yep. It's the best I can do.
All right.
'Cause mostly I don't want to touch that fucker again.
All right. So, well, you need to give me one of those things then if you don't want to touch that fucker again.
Yeah.
All right. So, as it is 8:15, here is what we're going to do. We're going to sort of wrap this up. I'm going to like sort of story element this up. Eerie, do you want to rank up tonight?
What? Am I level 5 or 6?
5.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know that Mac wanted to rank up tonight. So what happens is out at the wall, you two you buy a lot of time internally. For these conversations are obviously, we're just getting snippets of what is a much longer conversation. You buy a lot of time, but eventually they simply pull you down, and you do everything you can to hold the line, but eventually you just can't stop it, and they sort of tear you apart. And it is one of the more disquieting deaths you've ever had. But back into your crucible goes you. So, yeah, it's amazing. We thought the party would have to kill you, but it turns out the Chanters did it.
Oh, no, I wasn't worried about that on this particular incarnation.
So we'll meet rank 6 for both of you next time. Meanwhile, inside the city, you're able to convince them to give you the remainder that they have of the tablet. But as you're trying to sort of, as you put it all together, it sort of snaps together. You have the tablet in front of you. You sort of are looking down at it. You don't necessarily know what's going on, what the next step really is. Some of the Shadowvari who know their way around their magic are there sort of working with you on it. But then the Chanters basically hit the outer wall and essentially explode it in. There's too many of them. And Whisperers are sort of coming up and like beating on it with telekinetic blasts. And it's clear the city is about to like sort of overrun. When on the other side of the city, this is the cave wall. You fucker.
We built it too strong.
The other, like a big huge section of the cave wall falls in, and where did I put those 2 cards? Damn it! That's the one problem with this is there's so many cards. It's gonna be hard to keep track. Are these them? Nope. Wow. Oh, here we go. A series. Oh, we're gonna pull the wrong one. Well, we'll just say this one then. This thing comes bursting through the wall. It is
another Shogun.
This is a different type of one, but it sort of bursts through the wall, and along with it, I didn't pull the right card out of my deck. I must have not been concentrating. Are a bunch of bone sappers, which you know are like an aspect of the bones who are explosive experts, and it's clear that there's some sort of concerted dread effort to sort of prevent you doing what you're going to do. So you have the bones and a Shoggoth on one side, and you have the the Chanters pouring into the city on the other side. It's a big city. There's time for it to cut through. And at just that moment, one of the people who's working with you says, "Well, I guess if it's all out in the open, then I can do this." And he sort of snaps his fingers, and in another room of the building you're in, you can feel the Imperial flame turn on. And he was the Flamekeeper for this city who had basically been repressing it to prevent the Phoenixes from sending any support, and now you're connected to Pyre again. So in the center of town is, both sides are going to collide on you, but you will be able to gain reinforcements from the, including these 2 at rank 6.
Also, for what it's worth, I do have that.
Oh, all right. Well, you'll start with psychometry at the beginning of next game.
All right.
That has been Phoenix Dawn Command. Thank you, everybody, for...
Oh, my God.
Such a stressful.
It's a war story. It's got to be. Just so you know, some people have asked what the Patreon support for this show is. I will tell you. Starting next season, which is going to be in January-ish, we'll have a new Wing of Phoenixes, which is going to be brand new rank 1 Phoenixes, some of which will be the Inheritor Souls from this wing. Some of them won't. And that new Wing of Phoenixes will have a rival wing, which you will create. All the Patreon backers at any Patreon donation level will be invited to a Patreon-only chat where we, along with creator Keith Baker, create all 6 members of that wing. And next season is not going to be quite so fast-paced and intense as this one. I won't spoil it, and I'm not entirely sure I know the answer yet anyway, but basically the actions of this wing over the next few weeks will essentially turn the hot war into a cold war, which will allow the second wing, the second season wing, more time to sort of do character development and do like Freak of the Week stuff and everything else. So that's what's going to happen. Your Patreon contributions will be relevant to that. In addition, of course, well, I'll say obviously people on Patreon will get a first look at the art that we have being made for these exciting people. All of your donations to their flares, half of that is going towards making exciting art for all of our characters, and obviously, of course, all your donations go towards keeping the lights on here at Saving Throw Show, which allows us to bring this to you. Yay. So that's what happens with this show. Thank you so much. We'll be back next week. Mac, when are you out for again next?
Oh, not until the 10th, so I'm here next week.
So next week we will meet Rank 6 Mac, who is going to be...
Also Varia, because...
Yes.
But I'm also ranking up.
Yeah, yes. But we're ranking Mac up as well.
We're all ranking up in friendship.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Actually, I'm pretty sure ours is going backwards at this point.
Oh. It's going to be kind of a low boil battle for next week, so we'll have some time for some good role play. For those of you who want some Variant time, are going to get a chance to see some more of that, as they're essentially now locked in, 6 buildings as opposed to a room together. Kate will be back. I'm assuming you'll come back.
Sure, absolutely.
You'll either come back as Fade in the rest of the season, or you'll be back as a new exciting Phoenix post-war.
Kind of interested in that.
And of course, we're always interested in Mac's 6th level rack. Thank you, Farquaad.
Awesome.
We're always interested in all of your contributions, fan art, anything else you want to contribute. Don't be afraid to whisper us, tweet us, put it in the chat.
Is there fan art for Max Rack?
Oh, jeez. There is now.
And,
You're the one that said it.
No, it's fair. I took us there. You just pointed it out. Yeah, so please be part of this community. Community is all that matters in these troubling times. We want you, various garbage people, which is an unfortunate group name, to, but it's true. Thank you, Sean Graham, to feel like you're part of our community here on Saving Throw Show. And one of the things that we often do on this show that I love is help people to find their own play groups at home. If you are having trouble finding people to role play with, don't be afraid to reach out to us. We may not know anybody, but we may, and we can recommend some things. And of course, we're always happy to have you watching along here, or even playing along with your donations. Any final plugs or thoughts? Anybody?
Thanks for playing with us. Thanks for joining us.
Take care,
This
be
was
good,
fun.
have fun, safe home.
Take care of each other.
Be excellent to each other.
Excellent to each other.
Ooh, that might be a good universe. I don't know. I'm not going to change my answer.
Yeah, I can
Those are the best endings.
Yes. All right, so yeah, that's really it, unless anyone has any additional questions. Oh yeah, the questionnaire thankfully has D20 Robot literally just hit it exactly in time, which is if you want to fill out our questionnaire about Saving Throw shows, various shows, and what you want to see on this network, please do. Don't be afraid to say Phoenix Dawn Command is your favorite. And
Because it is.
yeah, of course
Yeah.
it is.
That and Misadventures.
Yes.
And
And
Masks is really great.
because it's the holiday weekend, I'm not going to dare tell you what's coming up later in the next week, but I'm sure it's cool shit. So look for our calendar update ASAP, and we'll be happy to have you there. Bye-bye.
Bye.